Hello, and welcome to the Graveyardmedia podcast, episode 9 for the week of September 11th, 2017. I'm your co-host Saine. With me is Dalsson.
Hello, it's me.
And Thel.
I think I should get like a cross. Does it look like a priest?
You mean, what? I forget what those white things are called.
Well, yes, but also a cross. And I also forget what they're called. Damn it.
Like some kind of.
You know, the
Yeah.
thing that like,
Oh, yeah,
the guy
priest
has.
thing. The Jesus guy who you go to church.
no, not the
Rosary?
Jesus guy. Not the
Rosary.
Jesus guy.
Is that what you're talking about?
Maybe. Is that the little white collar thing?
No,
chain
no,
of-
it's not
no.
at all.
Oh, no, rosary's
know
the
what you-
beads.
Yeah,
Yeah,
rosaries
rosaries
are
are
the
beads.
prayer beads. No, they're not. It's the little white thing the priests get on their necks.
Why
Like,
are we
you know-
talking about this? Let's move on.
Let's move on. Anyway, so what are your guys' religious beliefs? Let's go into detail about
Let us
that.
not. Let's move on.
Let's
Okay,
fucking
so-
move on.
Today we're going to start off by talking about the games and movies we've been playing this week,
Probably.
and then follow up with
Well, nothing,
movie news and gaming news, if there is any, which not really. So,
Yeah.
who wants to start this week?
I will start this week.
Okay, Dalsson will start this week.
I haven't been playing anything.
Shut up, yes you have. Talk about Elder Scrolls Online.
Okay, so recently I've purchased the Elder Scrolls Online, and man, I was not pumped about it. I was like, well, this isn't gonna be great.
I
is
had to
just-
talk him
you know,
into
it's
it, it was
whatever.
terrible.
Yeah,
He only got it because it was on sale.
yeah. He had to fly down to my house and punch me in the mouth until I bought it. And goddamn, I actually do not regret this decision. It feels like I like it better than Skyrim, even as a single player Elder Scrolls game. Like if there were no other person there with me, it certainly is better than Skyrim. Just because it's just that much closer to Oblivion.
I wouldn't say it's better than Skyrim. It's different. It has some different things going on, but in terms of like dungeon design and storytelling, I think it is better than Skyrim.
Yeah, for sure.
It doesn't have that classic Gamebryo engine feel, but the combat's not bad. It's a little bit
Yeah.
MMO-y, but that's okay.
I don't feel like the combat is as MMO-y as other MMOs. That sounded really dumb when I like it. It feels like when you're playing it, there's obviously these MMO things like everybody has a class and they all have their own little set of skills and whatnot, but it still feels like the way that you do stuff and cast things still feels like an active kind of combat.
I think where it breaks down though is anytime you're using ranged weapons, like bows or staves or whatever, that's when you start to feel the like hotkey tab target MMO.
Yeah.
It's still active in the sense that you are always aiming with the cursor as if it were in first person,
Mhm.
but it's very much like if you're kind of facing something, your arrows will go and hit it no matter what.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, but I guess that kind of takes the guesswork out of balancing for them, because it's less about having to balance with the expectation that they'll miss a certain percentage of their shots. They can just say, this is what damage it does.
Right.
So,
Speaking of balancing, I don't think that it's imbalanced or this really affects anything, but it's fucking silly. At level 1, you start off with ridiculous numbers. Like, you're dealing 5,000 to 9,000 damage with all your shit at like the very immediately upon starting the game. It's like,
yeah, I don't know
this
why.
sword that you picked up deals 1,000 damage.
I don't know why they decide to start off with very large numbers, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Didn't WoW have to like bring back the numbers because of how big
Yeah.
they had gotten?
Yeah, WoW actually scaled every single number in their game down by 10%. So,
Well, we're not gonna last as long as that. Fuck, we have to put out Skyrim again. We just gotta start big.
we gotta put out Skyrim again. apparently it's doing pretty decently for itself. It hasn't gone completely free to play, which is usually the indication of success of an MMO.
Well, it went buy to play, and once because it should be anyway. I feel like most MMOs should just be buy to play now.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time when subscriptions were the thing, but that time doesn't exist
But
anymore.
back then, server space used to cost more.
Yeah.
Now they're gigantic server farms that don't cost anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Relative to the amount they're making or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like,
just use a cash shop.
If you're not WoW, right?
Yeah.
And WoW just kind of can because it was first and it has never dropped below a certain point. Like,
yeah,
they just can get away with it.
Yeah.
But eventually they'll stop getting away with it, and maybe they'll go buy to play. Who knows? Maybe it's at that point that they make a sequel. Who knows? Like a actual World of Warcraft
2 Universe of Warcraft.
I mean,
you know, I joke, but that's almost sounds like what they're building up to. I think they're going to Argus or something. Fuck, I haven't played that game in like 6 months, so I really have no idea.
We're really not that far in Elder Scrolls Online, though, so
yeah,
we'll kind of keep you updated on how we feel about that over time. But right now, the first impression is pretty good, right?
Oh, yes. First impression is great, and I enjoy that. I'm pretty sure every race has their own starting zone. Like, there are 3 factions, each of which have 3 races, but I think each of the 3 races have their own starting zone too, because the other day I didn't know what to stream, so I started up a Nord character in Elder Scrolls Online, and when I did that, I was in a like Nord exclusive starting zone, I guess. I was in fucking an island right next to Skyrim or some dumb shit.
Right.
And it's really
Skyrim 2.
Skyrim 2.
Smaller map.
You know what's kind of funny about Elder Scrolls Online? It has more than 4 voice actors.
Yeah, and most of them are dog shit.
Well, you say most, but what you mean is most, like, characters you don't interact with for any period of time have trash voice actors. All of the ones who you go on quests and stuff for are okay.
Well, I had a quest NPC in the Nord starting zone, and like all of her friends were turned to skeevers, and she was. This isn't huge spoilers. This is like literally a starter quest, so bear with me. And all of her friends had gotten turned into skeevers by a mad wizard or something, and she was like, "Oh no, that wasn't the quest. It was an Argonian, and she was in a war band, and her war band had gotten captured by spiders, and she came up to me with this worried look on her face, like." All of my friends have been captured by skeevers. I need you to go help them, please. They're in these 3 different caves over here.
Are you sure it's not just because it was an Argonian and they like have to come up with that fake accent for Argonians?
What the fuck's up, Smooth?
You know what I mean, right?
I know. Like I figured it was because she was an Argonian, but I just feel like the actor didn't do. And then like once I completed the quest, she was like, "Thank you for saving all of my friends."
I don't know. Maybe you just got a bad one. I feel like most of the ones in the Khajiit zones are pretty good.
I feel like
all my friends turned into skeevers, Smooth Skin. Did you go deal with them?
I feel like the Khajiit's voice actors are pretty decent, but a lot of them are really bad at doing the accent. Like, they're supposed to sound like not Russian, and most of them just sound Russian.
I didn't really get that impression, but whatever. At least the sound quality is okay. I've heard voice acting with bad sound quality, which is even funnier, but...
Like that one voice actor in Oblivion who was like, "You can get all of my potions at a great discounted price." No, shit, record that one again. "You can get all of my..." And they didn't even bother to fucking... They didn't even bother to, like, cut up the line or anything. They just didn't realize that they had recorded the same line twice.
Maybe they just left it in because it was funny.
I mean, maybe, but that's ridiculous.
Well, the thing is, it wasn't, like, really that funny of a fuck-up. It was just, like, the voice actress didn't think that she did a very good job, or, like, her director was telling us, "No, you want me to do that again?"
The way that it was presented in that game, though, it was, like, it was like she was pretending to be a shopkeeper, and then I don't know. It was a shopkeeper who was practicing shopkeeping. Like it felt like it could have been in universe though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess. But like she said record that one again. So
No, she said let me try that again.
okay.
Well, no, what she said when she wasn't actually talking about shopkeeper, she was talking about like some sort of faction within the town.
What?
No, I remember exactly where it was.
I know who it was. It was a potion shop.
Yeah.
So
and actually,
never
the
really
first
thought
time I
about it
was in
that
there,
way,
I was
but-
sneaking around in her shop. So
yeah, I never really thought about it that way, but that's a good point, Saine.
You know, actually, talking about like Elder Scrolls Online makes me really wonder something about Bethesda. They keep like re-releasing Skyrim. Why don't they just like make another DLC or something for it?
Because it's easier to just release the same game.
well,
I mean, yeah, but
get
it's
people to
easier.
buy
I mean,
than
they
add a new
did. They
game.
did their
Price
whole
point.
round of DLC on it, and then
Yeah.
and then they updated the engine to 64-bit because they had already done a lot of the work on Fallout 4.
Right.
So I think the only reason they re-released Skyrim was because the first time they released the Legendary Edition because they did all the DLC.
Mhm.
Then they're releasing and they always do that anyway.
Yeah.
And then they did the special edition to upgrade the engine to 64-bit after they had already done the work with Fallout 4. So that's all they're really doing. And then now they're porting it to Switch and stuff like so. I don't know.
Right.
As much as people joke about them re-releasing Skyrim over and over again, it was really like once the definitive edition and then special edition and then ports. Like
Yeah. The definitive edition and special edition were the ones that did it because they released the definitive edition and that's normal. That's what they do with
Yeah.
all of their games.
Yeah.
And then they released special edition, which was the same thing but on an all new engine that looks just as bad.
Yeah, except for the
it
water.
doesn't look. See the thing
and
about
they
it,
released the HD edition, which is like like a high definition mod, but it looked worse.
it wasn't an edition. They added a mod DLC to the
Oh,
store.
was the HD
yeah.
DLC? Okay.
Yeah. They didn't resell that. In fact, it's
Okay.
free, I believe.
It makes sense though to re-release it on other consoles. You know,
Yeah.
like a release for the Switch is a really good idea because the Switch is a really good idea. Take Skyrim wherever you want to go. Drag and shout at your friends on the playground.
Waggle at the TV like you're playing a Wii.
Yeah.
I actually am a little bit interested in that because that seems fun. And I didn't play the Wii. I never owned a Wii. I was one of the 5 people who didn't own a Wii. So I never played that much with motion control shit. So.
Right.
I had a Wii and just about as many games for the Wii as everyone else did. I mean, like
5?
in America,
Like
yeah,
3?
like 5 and never played them.
I feel like 5 is generous. I think it's more
Yeah.
like 3.
I
Yeah.
had the Metroid Prime trilogy, and man, that was it. But goddamn, was it a good choice?
I think-
and I had Red Steel 2.
I think
which
the
was
games
dope
that
as
everyone
fuck.
always had were like Wii Sports, like Mario Kart, and then one other Mario game. Like it was
Yeah.
either Mario Party or it was like Mario Galaxy 1 or 2, but it was always like one other Mario game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I thought Red Steel 2 was like the height of the Wii, the original Wii's achievement.
I didn't like the whole thing behind Red Steel 2 because I don't know. In addition to having to buy the game, you also had to buy the Motion Plus shit, and if you wanted to play
Yeah.
with multiple people, you had to get multiple Motion Plus shit. It just
But
seemed
later
like a
on,
lot.
they released controllers. They stopped selling the original controllers and they started selling controllers that had the Motion Plus built in, which would have been a better idea to begin with. But like
I don't
the
know.
Wii Motion Plus made the game so much fun. Like it was just great. I loved it.
I don't know. I played one of my favorite games for the Wii because my friend had a Wii, so I just played his. One of my favorite games for the Wii was the Resident Evil light gun game.
They had a Resident Evil light gun game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Umbrella Chronicles. It was really good.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. That sounds awesome.
Okay. So that's Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
In conclusion, Elder Scrolls is a thing and it's still successful.
Yeah.
And they keep releasing it.
By
You're not
Skyrim
the man
again.
who has released a million games.
I thought we just
Once.
decided that they didn't.
Yeah.
We decided that they did, but there's a reason that they keep doing it.
What?
Reason 1, checkbox. It's cheap.
Reason 2,
Well-
our money castle needs a new wing.
It probably wasn't
People
that
like
cheap.
Skyrim and will probably buy it again.
It probably wasn't that cheap to update the engine to 64-bit, because actually a lot of that is like behind the scenes shit, like bare
Yeah.
metal shit, like programming stuff. So there's probably a lot of work in the back end, and they kind of half-assed the upresing of like textures and foliage on the front end, and people were like, it doesn't even look better. But
Yeah.
really, there kind of is a lot to that. It uses memory more effectively, and you can do things like make
And it broke all of our mods that we've released for free. I wonder why they wanted to do that.
No, it only broke mods that had scripting. In fact, there was a big push to have mods because at the same time they were releasing special edition with mods on consoles.
Did Skyrim Script Extender ever update 4?
I don't
Special
think
edition?
so. I could check real fast.
Nah, it's not that important.
The last update was in April,
That's
and they're
a while
still
ago.
working on it. Maybe.
Maybe. By the time they get this shit out, Elder Scrolls 6 will come out. Like, what?
No, it won't. Let's be honest. By the time
No, it
Elder Scrolls 6 will come out, those guys who are recreating all of Tamriel and Skyrim will have updated 5
They've-
times.
You know what? That's what they
I
said.
doubt
That's
it.
what people said when Oblivion came out. By the time they make Elder Scrolls 5, then there'll be fucking something.
How much time like difference was it between like Oblivion and Skyrim?
It was like 6 years. Pretty sure Oblivion
Okay,
came
but
out
we're
in 2000.
already coming out
Yeah.
to be longer.
Skyrim came out in 2010, 11. Came out in 2011, I think. Right? I don't remember.
Yeah, sounds about right.
List of games. Oblivion came out in 2006.
Oh,
2007. No, 2006.
okay.
Skyrim came out in 2011. So between Morrowind and Oblivion there were 4 years.
Okay.
And between Oblivion and Skyrim there were 5 years. And this came out 6 years ago.
Huh. Okay.
And they've said that they have not even started to make it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I
That's
mean,
fair.
as much as we give Bethesda all of the games that they're like publishing for like its classic stuff have been really
well, they
good.
make a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So they are releasing kind of a lot of games. It's just
Yeah.
You throw a bunch of
But they're,
darts
like,
all
sort
at
of-
once,
but yeah,
most
they're-
of them are gonna stick.
plus if you
Yeah.
look at Fallout, the back and forth between Elder Scrolls and Fallout, it makes a little bit more sense because it goes Oblivion was 06, Fallout 3 was 08, Skyrim was 11, Fallout 4 was 15, Skyrim and then special edition, and then
Skyrim too.
yeah, so Fallout 4 came out in 2015, which was 2 years ago now. Man, that
Yeah.
does not feel like 2 years ago, but okay.
I know.
Yeah, man, shit. You know, I just looked up something. Fucking Alien Isolation came out in 2014. It's almost 4 fucking years ago.
Alien Isolation came out before Fallout 4.
Uh-huh. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
I never finished either of those games, and now I never will. I uninstalled Fallout 4 today.
Oh boy.
Why?
Yeah.
Just to free up space on his hard drive.
To free up space on my hard
Well,
drive.
no, I know that, but like, why did
No,
you just give up?
No. To free up space on my hard drive. I didn't mind the amount of space it took before, but it's been patching and patching and patching and adding more and more and more shit to my hard drive that I have to pay to unlock. Because of the way that Creation Club add every single mod that is put onto Creation Club is added into the game's files.
Right.
So that's why I uninstalled it.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That it's something that they said they're working on a way around it.
It feels weird. I don't know why it doesn't just like go into a DLC folder.
I mean, like fucking Nexus found out. You just put it on a separate server.
Like I don't know, man. I don't know why.
What the fuck?
And so that's why I uninstalled it. If they fix that, I'll give it another shot, but I cannot afford for the game to just eat up my disk space at a constant increasing rate.
Bethesda, there are other games we play. You might, as much as you say there are infinite quests, I have other video games.
Yeah. So,
in fact, I can say I don't mind finite quests.
That I feel is something that's okay to just touch on for a moment.
Yeah, well, we might actually get into that a little bit more later on.
What else? What have you played, Thel?
Oh fuck. Basically fuck all. I've been working on like a new video, so I've been playing a lot of the new video. Yes, fuck it. I'll just give it away. What the
exclusive. You hear it here first, folks.
We got
Poop Baseball.
Fucking exclusive right here. It's unfortunately not Poop Baseball.
Exclusive.
Though it might take a long ass time to edit. I don't know. It's been Mountain Blade Warband. I've been playing a lot of that, and it's still good. Still a good game. Very good game. If you don't know about Mountain Blade, so yeah, let me explain.
I saw you playing that, but I didn't realize it was for a video.
Yeah, I put like fucking 10 hours or something in it for it. If you don't know about Mountain Blade, so you know all of like the fantasy games that sort of stick you to like a story?
Yeah.
This isn't one of those. This is a game where you start out as some asshole who comes out of a town. You can rally up a bunch of dudes. Yeah, or a ship.
Were you playing Viking Conquest or Vanilla? Because I know
Viking Conquest.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you can come out of a ship on Viking Conquest. I think
Viking Conquest, you explicitly come from a ship.
Oh, okay.
At the beginning of Viking Conquest, you are on a ship with an army, and your ship gets destroyed.
Really?
And you wash up on shore because you miraculously survive. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway about it, and that might also
see you're playing your old save.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a game where you're just some asshole, and you can get a band of other assholes by recruiting them through one way or another, and then yeah, you can choose to do anything. You can give yourself to a lord. You can take over a castle and make your own kingdom. It's a completely free experience. You can do whatever the hell you want.
See, my favorite thing to do in Mountain Blade is to pump myself up really, really hard and then make a warband exclusively out of captured prisoners that I hire.
Yeah.
In exchange for their freedom.
That you hire.
So, like, I'll go and fight, like, a group of 15 people and knock them all out with a club and then...
yeah.
And then hire them later.
Yeah.
After they get tired of being my slaves.
I like to pump my charisma, so I have a shit ton of dudes starting out, and so I can just step on all of the bandits by just throwing more dudes at them than they have.
Yeah, see, we play exactly the opposite.
Yeah, we have completely different ways of playing.
You have a giant army that's unbeatable in numbers, and I have me, the epic hero from fantasy game Skyrim.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a completely free game in that you can do whatever the hell you want. You have to pay money for it. It's great. It's a fantastic game. I have almost more hours in it than I have in anything else on Steam. It's Path of Exile still beats it.
I definitely would endorse it myself. It's great.
It's great, and like it's one of those things where it's like, do you like Mountain Blade? It's Oh,
Why
I've
are
never
you
heard of
trying
it.
to sell
and
Mountain
yes.
Blade? It's been out forever.
Because Mountain Warband's coming out and they need more money.
Bannerlord.
Bannerlord, yeah,
coming out.
sorry.
Sometime in the near next 25 years or so.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. The reason I'm trying to sell it is because, like, it's like if you haven't heard, if you've heard of it and have played it, you're probably already sold. If you haven't heard of it, you need to be sold on it.
Yeah.
It's for
Well,
those people
I've
who
heard of
have.
it for years, and I've never played it still.
Oh, all right.
We'll play
Yeah, play it.
it.
I'll get to it eventually, maybe never.
Maybe,
Anyway,
okay.
something we have been playing is Overwatch. We got ranked this week.
Yay.
Thel placed in silver because he sucks, and me and Saine are both gold.
Yeah.
And I'm the best.
Well,
Which is
what
good
these
because
guys are
I'm the
telling me.
streamer.
Because, well, here's the thing. What these guys are telling me, they keep telling me it's like, I feel like I'm obligated to play a healer or a tank, but I'm really better at attack heroes. So these guys have to tell me to just bully our buffs, which,
Well,
I mean, is
what's-
right.
I
What's
always pick a tank or a
funny-
healer too, though.
Yeah.
What's funny is that I was doing like for the first little couple of games, I was doing really shitty, really bad, and then I played as Reinhardt, which I'm pretty sure just skyrocketed my rating because I got gold eliminations in every single game I played as Reinhardt.
Yeah.
And damage done in eliminations weight your ranking a lot,
Or your
which is
placement,
kind of your placement a lot, which is kind of bullshit. But
Well, the problem for healers is it also does healing done,
mhm.
but if you're not taking damage because you're killing the enemy team too fast, then the healer isn't healing anyone.
Yeah.
Well, and also,
So-
like as a healer, I don't really kill people. Like even on like Lucio, which is sort of kills people. I only focus on healing.
Maybe you should try
Well,
getting
yeah.
good at Zenyatta.
Yeah,
You should probably. Well, even Lucio, he's pretty good at killing people too. So you should probably just practice at like running into people's faces and getting headshots as Lucio. That's because
Yeah.
his
if
gun
you- if
actually
you
does a lot
headshot-
of damage if you get headshots. So if you get into their face and headshot them a bunch,
Yeah.
I've killed Orissa's a bunch.
It's
like
it's
that.
really
Yeah.
it's really easy to get one of those like super cheap feeling fast kills on Lucio where you headshot 3 times melee and right click all at the same time, and so they just take
Just a
800
stupid
fucking
amount of damage.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and yeah, that is something I should definitely work on. And another thing I'm trying to work on is I need to play a little bit more Tracer just so I feel comfortable playing her like in a competitive place, because I always feel like she's really situational, and she can be really situational for every situation. I just need to be able to play her in.
So she's not really.
yeah, exactly. And I just sort of need to feel better at playing her like that. I don't know. It's like I'm really good at one attack hero. I'm really good at Pharah and can shred and win games as Pharah, but
Mhm.
just Pharah. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
am
that is
pretty
what I'm saying.
balanced. The only thing, like, I can play. I even have attack heroes that I'm pretty good at. The only thing is, like, I feel if I'm not playing a healer or a tank, that I'm giving other people too much control over the game, and I like to
Yeah.
have a decent amount of control over the game.
Yeah.
So I end up picking tank most often,
yeah.
and then healer after that. Because I
think-
feel like I'm better than most people at healers, but if they're willing to play a healer, I'm probably gonna pick a tank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Mhm. See, the only healer I even remotely enjoy playing is Zenyatta, and every time I play him, I feel so much pressure to do good, because when you play Zenyatta, you're giving up a lot of healing for the ability to deal basically as much damage as an attack hero. So it's tricky, like you got to be really good at Zenyatta to balance out what you're giving up.
Yeah.
right.
And if I feel like I'm not doing that good, then I just will stop.
That's why I like
him.
playing Anna so much. I feel like I can get kills with her pretty well,
Mhm.
and she's a very good healer. I tend to focus more on healing for obvious reasons, but if I need to take out like a Pharah or something, I'm pretty good at doing that as Anna, which
Anna.
not any of the other healers can really say that they're really good at taking out Pharah, except for maybe like Mercy.
I feel
Mercy can.
Zenyatta's
Well,
decent at it.
but
Yeah, definitely.
he can. But the thing is, his projectiles move so slowly that
You gotta be good at aiming.
Exactly.
well, I don't know. It's even then, it's still the distance is so long that the Pharah can do things in reaction to it, and in a way that other characters can't.
Yeah.
And the only reason Mercy can be good at killing Pharah is if she's up there with a different Pharah too. She can take out the Pharah pretty decently with her blaster, but like, I don't know. But yeah, we've been playing a lot of Overwatch because that's kind of an easy thing to come back to.
Yeah, easy to just pick up and play.
Why don't we move into TV shows since I don't think we've played anything else this week.
Okay.
Who wants to start?
Thel.
You want me to just start? Thel, do you have anything this week?
Oh yeah, I finished up Game of Thrones. A lot of people, like Dalsson, you were telling me that people were saying that this season was like written worse than the other seasons.
I have been hearing from all my friends that Game of Thrones sucks now and it's not fun, and I've been hearing it all over the internet too, and it sucks.
Alright, let me explain something. One of the reasons I feel like
already solved this though.
Okay, yeah, one of the reasons I really do feel like a lot of people are saying this is because now the characters have plot armor. These characters have always had plot armor. If you didn't think that actually, they had plot armor,
what's funny,
you're retarded.
What's funny is Dalsson and I had a conversation about this in season 1 when we were watching Game of Thrones.
We were like, you can tell right now who has plot armor.
Yeah,
Arya
it's like
Stark obviously will never die. One, because George R.R. Martin's wife threatened to divorce him if he killed her.
well, not even that, because we didn't even discuss that yet at that point. But it was pretty obvious which characters had plot armor up until they didn't. You know what I mean? Like, and it was I don't even want to talk about spoilers, but like there was a couple of points when you could see it coming. You could see when their plot armor was running out, and it did. Except for maybe the Red Wedding, but we had heard so much about the Red Wedding going into it because we had watched it after that, like significantly after the Red Wedding, that we were like waiting for it, and when it happened, we were like, "Is that the Red Wedding? That didn't even seem as bad as everybody says."
Is that how everybody died? Like there were like 3 characters that we know about that really died. Everybody else was just slaughtered that were background characters. Like who?
Right.
Fucking what?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and here's the thing. And that's one of the things about it. Like, honestly, I feel like the 2 previous seasons were a lot of filler. A lot of people say like, you know, they were to build up the characters, like all of the stuff with like the septums, but they didn't really have anything to do with anything else going on anywhere else. And honestly, I feel like it's getting back into stride this season. But yeah, all of those people who are only now getting on the hate train, you've been the normies all along. You think that you're the hipsters, but you're wrong.
I feel like I hate everything that goes into Daenerys Targaryen's story, and I wish she just wasn't in it.
Well, here's the thing. She actually got a lot better this season. Like, particularly this season, she's a lot better.
I feel like, what I've, in small clips that I've seen of this season of Game of Thrones, it feels like some of the Daenerys Targaryen stuff is finally starting to like mean something, but for so long it seems so unconnected and pointless that it's like,
well, and not only that, but she also became like a lot better character in this season. Like she isn't some dumbass teenager who's trying to, you know, just do the things that makes her feel good. I mean, there were like some consequences previously for all of that, but I feel like there weren't enough. I didn't feel like she fucked up enough. I don't feel like everything came crumbling down around her enough for her dumbass decision. I mean, there were like a couple conversations about like, oh, you freed all the slaves, and now that has like political consequences, and it's like, I feel like she.
And then all that really happened with that is like, oh, the consequences were that I was able to leverage this in a good way anyway. Like that's how it felt. I don't know.
Yeah, and it seemed like it was building up to like something was happening.
Yeah,
but
something bad was gonna happen.
No. No. But yeah, I'm still following it. It's, I mean, you know, it is like it is normie bait, but like it's TV normie bait, so it's actually pretty good.
We need to
Stuff on television is
dive back into
Yeah.
that. Though it's been a while.
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean, I'd recommend it. It's still pretty good. It's still going. You know, the last two, the previous two seasons were kind of inconsequential. It was just like building up to these next seasons. This one and the next one was just like the last one, and people are jumping
then
off.
maybe we'll
because
just wait for the last one because I think we stopped right before the 2 seasons of what you say is filler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
think
yeah, might as well.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll take care of it. Maybe we'll wait.
Yeah.
Why don't we talk about BoJack Horseman?
Okay, let's do it.
Oh
I-
fucking boy!
Why don't we start with your impressions of it, Thel, since you just started watching it, right? You're only a few episodes in, though, right?
Yeah, I think I'm about to where I was when I stopped watching it last time. I didn't stop watching it for any reason. It's just I was watching something else at the time and watched that instead, and then just never got back on the horse.
But
Tish.
Tish, they'll get in the
Wordplay,
stream.
cute.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, yeah, it's still very good. I do like a lot. I love all of the character dynamics. All of the characters are fun. The writing is really snappy, and it's a good.
It has
show.
some of the best rating for a comedy
Yeah.
I've ever seen.
Yeah, and not only that, one of the things that I really do like about it, and this is one of the things that I really like about like Venture Bros, is like each episode has like its own plot, but there's always sort of like this overarching like things that are happening that are sort of brought up from episode to
One
episode.
of the things I love about BoJack Horseman more than almost anything else is there's so much consequence for all of the characters' actions, more so than any other like TV show like it. And to the extent where in season 1 BoJack breaks part of his bed and it just stays broken for like a while. And then like maybe a third of the way into season 2 they bring up the fact that his bed's been broken the whole time and they like make it a plot point that he has to fix it. Like
all right.
No, I'm remembering that now.
And yeah, that happened in season 1 when Todd broke his bed, and then
Yeah, I
season
remember.
2
We
they
just
had to
watched
fix
that
it.
episode.
Yeah, and like just even like in one
And
episode
that
they'll
also
like
kind of shows off how like almost lazy he is.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of it. Like in season 1, one of the characters lights his ottoman on fire, and it just stays burnt up until season 2, where they replace all the furniture. Like
yeah, I remember that too.
so there's like lots of steps of them breaking everything and then it staying broken for a while and then them eventually fixing it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So it's one of the things I really love most about that show. Hold on, I need to let my cat.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Even in the couple episodes that I have watched, just the continuity, little things that sort of pull over. Like there are things that are obviously going to be like big plot points that are pulling over, and then just the little stuff.
Yeah, like
Except
the thing you pointed out was Princess Carolyn said she had a seat at the roast of some celebrity, and then the next episode started out with
the
roast of that. Yeah, like, they were at the roast.
They're really good about like foreshadowing and leaving hints and not leaving anything, not really putting anything in there for no reason unless the reason is that it's there for no reason. It's really good at subverting your expectations, and it does it over and over again.
Oh
and
god,
like even I just watched season 4 and it's still doing it. It's still really good about the meta humor.
Okay, I'm gonna be very nondescript about this scene, but we just watched it, Saine, so you should remember. Do you remember the posters back behind Mr. Peanut Butter?
Yeah.
That I kept, like, I was like, oh god, oh no, oh boy,
so yeah,
there they are.
So there were posters.
Like, oh, okay.
There were posters that were kind of leading you to think one thing, and then they completely just went in a different direction.
Yeah,
like they were trying to foreshadow this thing heavily, and then they did it. Like,
but it wasn't like the characters called attention to posters. They just like put it back there as though.
Well, there were other parts where the characters were talking about stuff as if that were the logical next conclusion.
Oh, yeah,
like
and that happened even in like the first season. There was this point like where Bojack was talking about something. It's like in the episode where Todd writes the rock opera, where he's just like talking to what's her name, the ghostwriter girl. She's like,
Diane.
isn't there someone? Yeah, Diane. Isn't there someone who influenced you? He's like, no, no one ever influenced me. No one ever helped me get to where I am. And meanwhile, in the background, there's a picture of the guy who we saw do it in the beginning of the episode, just like right to the side of his head. Yeah, it was.
It's like, don't be ridiculous. Nobody helped me get where I am.
So yeah. How do you feel about it, Dalsson? I don't remember how much we talked about last week.
I think we talked a decent amount about it last week too, but it's so great. Like every episode is like filled with like a million fucking jokes. Like the whole episode is joke after joke. It's joke, and they're all funny. They all hit the mark. And then it still makes room to be like a serious show at the same time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like there was an episode where
stop playing your clicker game.
Okay, there was an episode where they had a flashback, and they flashed back to a point in time where they just made jokes over and over again about that time period, and every single one of them hit the mark, but it was still a really important episode for setting things up, you know?
Yeah, they do that a lot with transitions where they'll kind of, in a very obvious way, make it clear what time period it is. They might even say exactly what year it is, but they'll often draw attention to why it's weird you're telling me what year it is. It's like really...
Yeah.
It's like they simultaneously don't call attention to it by doing this interesting transition and then call attention to it on purpose. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, like I think during one of the flashbacks, the radio announcer said, "It's now 2 months later," and the other announcer was like, 2 months later from fucking what?
Yeah, so I just watched season 4 of it, and it was another great season. I didn't like it as much as season 3, but I think season 3 so far is the like height of where it's been. It feels like season 4 is very transitionary. It feels like it sets up a lot of stuff for next season, more so than it really...
Do we have any idea when season 5 might be?
Probably exactly a year from now.
Yeah, like all of them have been so far.
Yeah, they always come out between July and August.
Okay.
There's this like, and September, July and September. Yeah. There's always this like window where they kind of all come out at once. But but man, it is. They do a really good job of changing things up and making the characters develop in a way that they haven't before.
Right.
The reason why I say it sets up more for next season is a lot of things happen this season that will probably be consequential in next season. Whereas I feel like in season 3, it wrapped up a lot of loose ends. And season 4 kind of had to create more things.
Ever, huh?
Yeah. Season 4 had to kind of create more problems. And then now season 5 will probably kind of deal with some of that.
Right.
They have introduced a new character, and they have brought an old character back as a more...
From the dead!
No. Well, no.
Okay.
But yeah, they brought another character back to expand on that character's story. So
spoilers, the character that they brought back was a water bear. It actually died. I haven't watched the...
And it's funny,
BoJack
the first episode of season 1 of season 4 doesn't even have BoJack in it.
Really?
He is literally not in the first episode of season 4.
With where season 3 left at the last episode, that kind of makes sense, though.
Yeah. I feel like there were a couple threads that I thought dragged on a little bit more than I would have liked. Kind of uncharacteristically for the show. Like, most of the time, they do a very good job of balancing everyone's story arcs. But I feel like at least one of the story arcs was kind of filler, even though it probably will have bigger ramifications next season.
Yeah.
This season was a very Princess Carolyn heavy season.
Yes.
I
like Princess Carolyn.
she's probably one of my favorite characters too.
Mr.
But
Peanut
it was
Butter's
kind of annoying because in this season I wanted it to focus on a particular relationship, and it felt like so much of that season was about Princess Carolyn and
it didn't focus
Mr.
enough
Peanut
on
Butter and Diane that it took a lot of attention away from BoJack's story in that season, and I was kind of sad about that. But
I feel like just based on the ending of season 3, I may know what you're talking about.
Right. But
yeah.
and it seems weird that from the ending of season 3 that it would be kind of almost a B story.
It was like the very end that it felt like that was just, it was like, this is what season 4 is going to be about now.
Right.
That's weird.
And so the problem with BoJack's story is not only did Princess Carolyn have kind of a big arc in it, and Diane and Mr. Peanut Butter's, their arc wasn't big, but it was there a lot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Todd had his own arc too for some reason.
I love Todd.
Well,
look at his cute little face.
But most of the time, Todd's story is integrated with someone else's, whereas this time it kind
usually
of wasn't.
Mr. Peanut Butter.
Well, or BoJack, right?
Yeah.
And this time it felt like he had kind of a solo arc that was there for kind of no reason. But maybe that'll lead. I don't know. It kind of again leads into stuff that'll probably happen more in season 5, right? So, and the problem with BoJack's arc is it has 2 major themes in it that are running parallel,
right?
And they almost distract from each other. So, like the one, like at the end of season 3, you were hoping for this one specific relationship to really work out, or kind of like happen, and season 4, it feels like you got much less of that one relationship they alluded to in season 3 than I would have liked. But but man,
that's weird.
I know it was strange, but while I didn't feel like it was as strong as season 3, it was still really good, and I would say it's still on par with season 1 or 2 for sure.
I think the whole show is really good. I mean,
it always had been ramping up.
Yeah.
Man, I like even more so than the end of season 3. I cannot wait for the next season. Like at the end of season 3, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to wait till next season. But at least season 3 wrapped things up and made sense, right?
Right.
And to a lesser extent, season 1 and 2. Although at the time that I was watching it, season 3 was already out, or it had just come out.
Okay.
But season 4, it felt like, man, there's so many threads on the table right now that like. And like I said, it felt very transitionary to the next season that I'm like, I really just want more. I know that I just watched 12 episodes in one sitting, but I want more already.
Well, that's why I just, like, season 3 ended, I was like, you were like, you were going to watch season 4 by yourself before you watched it with me, so I was like, man, now what do? I know, I'll watch it with Thel.
Yeah.
The older shit with Thel.
I rewatched this show more so than any other show I've ever watched. I think I've rewatched this like 4 or 5 times now. I think the next most I've ever watched something was Jessica Jones, but that was just because I wanted to watch it with other people. Where BoJack Horseman, I kind of just rewatched it for myself.
Yeah.
Whether I was with other people or not, I kind of just rewatched it because I wanted to. So yeah, I'm really excited for more, and season 4 was great. So
yeah,
and we'll watch it soon.
Good. Excellent.
Although I don't know, maybe if you guys are rewatching it, maybe I should wait for you guys to finish and then we can all watch season 4.
That'd be fine with me.
That might be
I kind of want to blow through it fast. Like Dalsson hasn't been around. I've almost been like, oh fuck, I should watch both. No. Because it is a
I don't
very
know.
good
I feel
show.
like you kind of should blow through it fast.
I feel like
but blow through it
almost
fast
better.
over and over again. Because on rewatching, you pick up on so much shit you missed the first time.
Yeah, there was so much shit that I saw. Like even in like the first what did we watch? Till 2 or 3 episodes, even in that, it was like I noticed a bunch of just like really, even if it wasn't huge shit, just like little funny jokes, like,
or even things that like, oh shit, there is a meta humor that is on a different level that I didn't understand the first time I watched this. Now that I'm rewatching it, the meta joke lands even like there's a meta joke there that you wouldn't even get the first time through because you don't realize what it's talking about.
Yeah.
In the way that it's kind of talking about itself, but you don't realize that the first time through a lot of the time.
Yeah. They do that a lot. They like so just in case anybody isn't familiar with the premise of the show, BoJack was an actor on an old sitcom. And so like it feels like every time they talk about his old sitcom, they're not really talking about his old sitcom. It's the show talking about itself.
Yeah.
So it's really,
and some of it is more
like
apparent
that.
than others. Like some of it's obvious that what they're doing, but other times they kind of talk about things that haven't happened yet. So when you get there and then maybe rewatch it, you're like, oh shit, that was talking about this thing that hasn't happened yet in this story.
Yeah.
And there's even subtle jokes that like you don't feel the gravity of that joke until later. Like there's one specific thing that Dalsson told me about. That like that is a joke that is incredibly dark that you do not realize is even dark at the time.
Yeah, and when you first see the joke, it's like, oh haha, that's funny. They're just lampshading it, but they were not just lampshading it. No.
So,
and Thel, you haven't gotten that far yet, so I really don't want to mention it, but man.
But yeah, BoJack Horseman is great. Recommended to everyone. Everyone should watch it. It is great. Especially if you have depression, you should probably watch it.
This is coming. My recommendation is coming from somebody who I think I said this last week too. I was like, this is just another stupid Fox show with ugly looking fucking Flash animation, and it's just gonna be stupid, and nobody's gonna, oh, it's so funny and good. No, people just think the jokes are funny because it's not Family Guy, because that's what they're sick of. But no, it's like so
it
far
is
above
next
that, I can't
level.
even describe it.
Yeah. It is
like,
yeah, go ahead.
It's one of those things like Netflix. Netflix has been like hitting home runs for like its older stuff. Like it took a bunch of risks in the beginning and they all paid off, and now it has like a bunch of shows. Some of them are huge hits, some of them are big misses. But that's the thing, it took a lot of risks.
That's
pay the fuck attention.
It's the same thing I said earlier. Just
yeah,
throw a bunch of darts at a dartboard. A lot of them are probably gonna hit.
Well, here's the thing.
You should still probably try to aim a little bit.
Take a handful and aim most of them.
Well, yeah, here's the thing. In the beginning, they didn't like throw a lot of darts at the dartboard. They started out really slow, like House of Cards, and then like BoJack, and then there was another show, I think. It was just like they had like these 3 shows that turned out to be really good, and that like skyrocketed them to the point where now they just have there's like a fuck ton of
There's also Stranger
Netflix.
Things, but that was
Yeah.
more, that was a little bit
That's
later.
what I got all
Further
excited
down.
about. Stranger Things is coming out next month.
Yeah,
and that's
Season
another
2.
that's another thing. Stranger Things is like the big one that I would probably, well, and BoJack, that I would like. If you have to get a Netflix account for anything, fucking Stranger Things and BoJack and also House of Cards are definitely worth like the how far.
I think House of Cards is a little bit harder to recommend because that's pretty hit and miss for the person.
See,
I started to watch House of Cards, but I did not like any of the characters, and the basic premise for me didn't work without liking any of the characters, so I bounced off of it pretty quick.
Yeah,
but
it's one of those things where if you're interested in watching like a horrible human being do horrible things, which I love that kind of shit.
You should watch BoJack Horseman.
No. I don't mean like a horrible human being, as in like someone who's like did horrible things and
okay, I understand.
Who did stupid.
BoJack isn't a human being. Yes.
So
I see.
Actually, one more thing I want to say about BoJack before we really move on is, while I didn't like season 4 as a whole more than season 3, BoJack Horseman season 4 probably has one of my favorite episodes of the entire show. I think it's titled like "You're a Piece of Shit" or something.
Oh shit.
But like it really talks about what is kind of going through people's head when they have depression and anxiety and that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
I don't know, like I feel like that particular episode really hits me home, and yeah, I don't know. I really recommend that show to everyone because it is so fucking good.
Yeah.
I think so far my favorite episode of BoJack was, I think it was in season 3. It was the, God, I don't know how to describe it.
Was it the
without
drug
spoiling
trip
it.
episode?
No. Oh God, I really liked the drug trip. That was great. But there was a lot more going on in that episode. I like that scene from that episode, but it was the one where he was underwater.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that, because it was one of those artsy type of episodes and you didn't really, I don't know, I didn't really expect this show to have that type of episode in it.
I mean, like at least looking from like, at least watching from where I was, it sort of feels like it might have something like that in it, just because of how really deep in the creators want to get with the characters.
Well,
it's like I look at that and I think, okay, these guys are creative.
well, I don't know.
type
At the same time,
you
it's
know.
a show that is very reliant and heavily uses dialogue. To
Yeah,
have an entire
that is true.
episode
with none.
with no dialogue, then that's actually kind of very strange for that show. It was actually a really interesting.
And it
episode.
made it a really good episode too. So
Yeah.
you know,
And I kind of spoiled the premise of the episode, but
yeah. I mean, the premise of the episode and the actual episode are very
right.
Yeah.
different.
So next, I'm gonna talk about Mr. Robot season 2.
What the heck is Mr. Robot?
Have you
Let's
never
find out.
have you never heard anything about Mr. Robot?
No, I haven't.
So Mr. Robot is a show about a guy who has I don't know, like some kind of mental disorder.
Borderline.
No, I mean
I-
maybe he has
I'm
a
trying
lot
to
of shit
remember.
going on. It's
Yeah.
like multiple personality disorder.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and one of his personalities is you, the viewer. So he's
Yeah.
constantly talking to the screen about what he's
Wait.
doing and narrating and stuff to himself, but to
Uh-huh.
you. To the extent that he like breaks the fourth wall occasionally and is like, "Why didn't you fucking tell me this was happening?
Yeah.
Why have you been lying to me? I can't trust you."
Okay, that's pretty funny.
But it's about a really kind of gifted hacker
Mm-hmm.
who, with a group of other hacktivists, kind of do something crazy to destroy like the banking system. And over season 1, it's about how they get there to the point where they completely take down this bank. And it's more than a bank; it's also a tech company. They call it Evil Corp. But
Is that the real name of it?
in the show it is. But the thing about the show is it's like kind of metaphorical in a lot of
Okay.
ways. So it's like, and it has
Is
a
it
very
really
unreliable
metaphorical?
narrator. So
Yeah.
so it's like you can tell that it's kind of talking about like Facebook, Google, whatever, Apple, but at the same time Facebook, Google, and Apple also exist. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like this company that is like a conglomeration of all of these other companies while also being separate, but kind of being a little bit more metaphorical about overall business and privacy and that sort of thing.
Rather than just like naming the company Goog Booktube Bowl or anything
Zoogle.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, like it it's really interesting because it follows some really it follows some kind of crazy people in their own way, but not crazy as in like crazy in a down to earth kind of way. Like they're crazy, but you understand their motivations for why they're doing things.
Right.
Yeah.
But kind of what sets it apart from a lot of shows like it is it's very much real about how it talks about hacking and technology. It doesn't. It like actually starts going into like Linux stuff and Linux kernel
It's not
stuff.
like click, 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 click.
Yeah,
click,
no,
I'm in.
it is the most not Hollywood hacking of any show that exists. All of the stuff that they do is like real. They talk about how they subvert protection in different ways. They I don't know, in some ways it feels like this feels a little plot device-ish, but the way that they go about it is very like realistic.
Right.
Throughout the entire show. So season 1 is about how they get to the point where they do this super big hack. From season 2, from the start of season 2, they talk about a lot about the consequences of what they did in season 1 and how the main character in particular is dealing with a lot of the stuff that happened to him in season 1. Because about maybe 2/3 of the way through season 1, there's a major revelation about what's been happening the entire time. And then from season 2, it's really dealing with the consequences of that and trying to recover from that. In its own paranoid, twisted, fucked up way. Yeah. I've heard some people didn't like season 2 of Mr. Robot as much as season 1. And I can see why, because in a lot of ways it's a different show, almost. They kind of, like, season 1 was sort of a very, like, ensemble cast kind of thing about the different dynamics between multiple different characters. But season 2 kind of follows, like, three major arcs.
Right.
And a lot of it is very self-contained in the beginning. It's not until the end that they kind of start going to one plot line where everything kind of makes sense, why everything's converging. But I actually really liked season 2 of it. But you have to kind of be open to what it's doing. Season 2 is not that reminiscent of season 1. It's actually a lot different. But you just kind of have to, if you accept it and just go on the ride with them, then it's not as bad as I think some people want to make it out to be. I really enjoyed it either way. On right now, and the reason why I kind of waited a while is I think it premieres first on USA, but I waited until it kind of all came out on Amazon Prime, because Amazon Prime has an exclusive deal with Mr. Robot, so they are the only place you can stream it online. And actually, I think it came out a little while ago. I just didn't get to it till now. But yeah, Mr. Robot's really good. And I've also started Man in the High Castle, which is the season 2 of that show about what if Nazis won the war.
Yeah.
That came out in December, and I'm only now getting to that too. But I'm a few episodes in. I'll probably talk about it more next week.
If I want my Man in the High Castle fix, I just play fucking Wolfenstein.
Yeah, I was gonna say Wolfenstein: The New Colossus is coming out. Speaking of,
right?
That's pretty much the exact same
I'm
concept.
super hyped.
In a lot of ways, it seems like a good way to go into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was so much fun. I love that shit more than Doom. Shit, I can't wait for it. I'm hyped.
It's funny because you waited so long on it.
Yeah. Like I almost pushed it away. I thought it was like, when I think Wolfenstein, I always think of not Return to Castle Wolfenstein. The one after that is like
the one that was bad.
Yeah, the one that was bad. Well, the one that was like mediocre. The one that was like a regular ass shooter, but with magic weapons.
Yeah, and actually, I remember telling you it was pretty good a couple different times, but.
And I was just like, yeah, okay, it's pretty good.
And then actually, when Doom came out in particular, I was like,
oh yeah, but the old Wolfenstein was like
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, with Doom and Wolfenstein kind of bringing back this old thing, and I guess it still didn't land at that point either.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Well,
until
no, like I think it was something like when you had said that. It's like when Doom and Wolfenstein bringing back this old, large room sort of fast paced game. Wait, the new Wolfenstein did that? What? Yeah, you didn't know that? No.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I just sort of pushed it to the wayside. It's just another military shooter. It's really good. It's really
pretty
good.
much everybody said it was really good. I think people at the point that it came out were so tired of military shooters that if it were just another military shooter, nobody would have.
Yeah, it would have been over.
Well, and another thing, one of the things that I read in like the Steam comments and like some guy was pointing out, the beginning of the game is almost a little bit military shooter-ish. Like the very first mission, and it's really long. But past that, it's fucking.
But at the same time, the nice thing about that first episode or that first mission of Wolfenstein was that it felt very reminiscent of Return to Castle Wolfenstein. So even though it maybe was a little bit more generic, especially compared to other ones, it had some really strong and nice set pieces to it.
Oh yeah.
So even like, I thought the first episode of Wolfenstein was really great. So there.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't hate it. I thought it was okay, but like I loved the rest of the game so much more. Especially like the very last fucking like hour or so. The final boss, I mean, it's whatever. There wasn't a lot of stuff with Death's Head. Really, like the big enemy was the Nazi regime at large, and Death's Head was just like an scientist who killed some dudes that you liked, yes, but so it didn't really feel like the enemy was Death's Head.
It felt like the final boss was broken up into like 4 different parts.
So, this game has been out for many years now, couple at least.
Like 2.
Does the ending of this game imply that the Nazis won? No.
Wait. Well, hold up.
The ending of the
Nazis at the start of the game. Okay, let's get this thing clear. At the start of the game, actually, as of episode or chapter or the second mission, right? Yeah, as of the second mission, the Nazis had already won.
Yeah.
They conquered the world because there's a time skip between the first episode and the second episode.
Yeah.
Or second. Mission.
Yeah.
First mission,
and the game takes place. You are in the anti-Nazi resistance, and all of the for a fucking game series that started
the new
out...
Colossus is just kind of like the logical conclusion, even though you're fighting the
yes and no.
Yeah, yes and no.
So in the first game, you were working entirely in the resistance in Germany.
Yeah.
So you were in Germany like the entire, well, not the entire time, but most of the time.
You go from Germany to London a lot. It's Europe. Is basically what the first game is. Second game is going to be America.
Is going to be so it's going to be totally different.
Yeah.
In that sense, because you're focused on something completely different.
And
there are things from the first one that lead into this one, but
So basically, what the second game is just going to be is push these Sandrakers off our world.
Basically, yes.
Okay.
But yeah, and that's one of the things for a game that started out like as being one of like the first person shooters with a completely silent protagonist. Narratively, the game is great. All of the characters...
Is the protagonist still silent?
No,
not at all.
BJ Blazkowicz is a very well developed character in the New Order.
I feel like the game despite this seeming like something that people don't want, I feel like Wolfenstein has always kind of made you feel like a fucking action hero. Does he have those silly fucking action hero movie quips and shit?
No, he does not.
He is very
it's
very
funny. Sullen.
It's funny. He is like very mellow, and he's just about doing what he's trying to do. And other characters around him are like kind of talk him up in a weird way. It's funny. It's like in the first mission. So this isn't a huge spoiler, but in the first mission, there is a part where you're just kind of going through and you're like killing a bunch of people, and then one of your dudes is like, BJ Blazkowicz is the best fucking Nazi killer ever. He's like, so he's going into like how BJ in particular is better at anyone else at killing Nazis.
Yeah,
So-
it's
so-
just okay. Go on.
So like, your character is like fucking Rambo, except all of the other characters treat him like Rambo, and he's just like, I'm just doing my thing.
Well, yeah, he's not even just like I'm just doing my thing. He's like, this war has cost so much, but the enemy's still out there. I still
Yeah.
have to fight. But
Oh,
the
so
pain that it
he's like
brings me.
He's not.
very-
He's not like depressing, but he's very like, I don't know, real about what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
very like, this is a fucking war, and I'm fighting it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that's the whole plot is kind of like that. Like you get a bunch of like really fun characters in the Resistance, but they all have like their own problems and are trying to deal with. They all have their own reasons for hating the Nazis. Like there's this one guy who was a Nazi, but then his like son was killed, so he adopted this other guy who was also a Nazi, but then he got part of his skull caved in, and now he's like has like a mind like a
So-
child. There's like a Jimi Hendrix person who just
So
wants. to
It is
fucking-
literally Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, it's
If
literally
I
Jimi
wanted
Hendrix.
to play Inglorious Bastards, the video game, would I play this game?
The tone
No.
is a little bit different.
No.
Yeah. The tone is a lot more serious.
Okay.
It's funny. It's funny because the show.
Yeah.
I feel
or
like
the game. Well, go
I
ahead.
feel like anything would be more serious than Inglorious Bastards, though. So, like, how much more serious on a sliding scale here?
So okay, it's funny because like almost everyone around you is constantly talking about how like what you're doing is impossible.
Yeah.
But
And it is, right?
well,
Yeah.
not I mean, it's improbable, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
One person
Improbable.
going through everything and killing everyone and not dying.
Uh-huh.
Like what the kind of stuff you're doing is like, it's not that it couldn't happen. It just seems very unlikely that
Right.
you would be getting through
like there's
everything
that
you're getting
sniper who spent time in World War II and got like thousands of confirmed kills
Yeah.
and probably thousands of unconfirmed kills, and he's like died from old age recently.
Yeah, it's kind of like what he's doing is impossible because I feel like statistically the things that he gets through like rack up to being more and more improbable. But
Yeah, and the
Right.
thing, and the game like sort of like it feels like that just because of the tone of the rest of the game. Which
but
is
at the same time, they lampshade it and call attention to the fact that what you're
Yeah.
doing is crazy. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
the
like, how the
shit you're
fuck
getting
did you-
away with is like ridiculous.
well, yeah, and not only that, but like the shit that the Resistance at large gets away with is sort of ridiculous, and that sort of elevates to like a sort of realistic point in the plot. It has a fantastic ending up until like you get to the final boss. Like there's like
I wasn't
the
that
mission
disappointed with the final boss, but
the mission before like the final boss is like a great end to the game. And yeah, it's
I
and it's
feel
one of
like
those-
maybe the final boss did kind of drag on a little bit.
yeah.
But after you fought the big thing right before the final boss, it felt like it was fine to me.
Yeah.
What
don't
what is the release date for the new Colossus? Do we have a release date? on that?
Yeah, it's like November something or not. It's December something.
I can look
Maybe
that
in
up
December.
right now.
Maybe in December I'll play through all of Wolfenstein on
Yeah.
stream. Maybe
And that's and
It's worth
yeah,
it. It's
Yeah,
really
it's,
good.
It's, yeah, and again, that's just not even.
I know I have it on like 4 different people's family sharing. So
10/27. So October 27th?
Oh
October
wow,
27th.
fuck! It's like
Okay.
Oh
well,
wait, no, that's
Now, how long would you guys say this game is?
wait, is that
Oh,
October? What's 10? Is 10 October?
Yeah,
or
10
November?
is October. Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
so
10
October.
October. You can hear it in
Yeah.
the root. Oct means 8, which means
8.
it's the 10th month.
fuck
Okay.
you, Julius Caesar, you bitch.
Hey, and Augustus Caesar.
In terms of length, I would say it's probably like 10 hours,
Something
Okay.
like that.
maybe longer
It's not-
depending on what difficulty you're on.
Yeah.
I played it on hard.
I played it on like the hardest difficulty for most of the game.
What's the hardest difficulty? It's Daddy Can I Play is the lowest.
Yeah, that's the hardest difficulty. It's Daddy, can I play?
Okay,
that's
that's
the one,
what I'll
that's it.
play it on. No,
yeah.
I said Daddy Can I Play is the lowest difficulty. Is it Hurt Me Plenty?
No,
Or is
No,
it-
Hurt Me
first
Plenty
off,
is the one I
that's
played.
Doom. And also, that's Doom, and it's I'm Death Incarnate.
I am Death Incarnate. And that wait, Hurt Me Plenty is
No,
Doom?
Hurt Me Plenty is definitely Wolfenstein.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it's Daddy Can I Play, and then like normal, and then Hurt Me Plenty.
Oh wait, no,
And then
Thel's
I'm
right.
Yeah.
Really?
Hurt Me Plenty's the medium level on Doom.
Okay,
Huh.
yeah. Yeah, he's right. That's Doom. Oh wait, that's Wolfen.
Okay, but
that's
they're like the
3D.
same. They're the
They
same
have the same. They have the same gimmick. Yeah.
Okay, so it's Can I Play?
Can I Play?
Don't Hurt Me. Bring 'Em On. I Am Death Incarnate and Uber.
Yeah.
I think
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think
I
I
played-
played I Am Death Incarnate.
Yeah, I forgot that Uber was a thing. Yeah, I played on Uber for like most of it.
Is Uber's not an unlockable difficulty? It's just a regular difficulty.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I think all of them are unlocked.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think so.
I think they all start unlocked.
Oh yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Okay. Yeah. Good game.
You have to
Game.
beat the game on Daddy Can I Play in order to unlock normal difficulty.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, you can change the difficulty at any time.
Yeah.
So if
In
you
fact,
get...
sometimes it's fucking super condescending. It's like, if you're getting your ass kicked, you want to choose. Fuck you.
Oh Jesus
Suck my
Christ!
dick.
I love that. That was the thing that I loved and hated about Devil May Cry 3 at the same time. Like if you got your ass kicked too hard in Devil May Cry 3, the game would set itself to a lower difficulty and then make fun of you on the loading screen.
It would set
it'd be
itself
like-
to do it.
Yes, it would be like,
automatically?
holy
Ooh.
shit, you fucking retard. You're too bad at this game
in
to
Metal
play.
Gear Solid, they would give you a chicken hat if you died too many times.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like and like you could immediately set the difficulty back up to the normal to the difficulty setting you were playing on, but Devil May Cry 3 was like really condescending. It was like, you pussy, you can't even beat this boss. Here, we'll set the game lower for you. And then like what
That
made
was
it
the
even more
one.
condescending was you had to play through that did have unlockable difficulties. So you had to play through a difficulty setting to get the higher difficulties.
That one was so hard that they re-released it later in America with an easier
Whoa.
difficulty on it. It was Devil
was
May
the other
Cry
way around.
special.
The
No.
original Japanese version was like a regular average difficulty.
No, it wasn't, dude.
They felt no, I know the story behind this. They felt like that was not difficult enough for American audiences at the time. So when they released it in America, they made it really hard. And then they had to release the special edition, which was basically the original difficulty level.
That's not how I remember it.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Let's see. I have to look this up because that's really what I. Yeah.
I am seeing that, but I don't know if I believe this.
Yeah. Because I remember that at the time they released it, they had basically, when they released Special Edition, they basically released a statement that said, this is basically the original difficulty of the Japanese game. We felt at the time that we released the original Devil May Cry 3 in America that the Japanese version was not difficult enough for American audiences, and we're sorry because Americans suck at video games and fuck you.
That feels
And
weird that they would even
obviously
make
that
that
wasn't-
assumption, though.
Yeah, especially when like a bajillion years before Super Mario Brothers 2 wasn't even fucking released in America because they're like, wow, Americans are dumb, fuck them.
Yeah. I don't know. You know how Capcom do.
And then they released it later. It was a Super Mario 4, right? The Super Mario 2.
Yeah, I think so. Because Super
Or maybe
Mario
it was
Bros.
3 and then the 3 was 4. I don't know. They
Did
screwed up the
you
numbering
know
system.
That in America, Super Mario Brothers 2 was actually a reskin of a game called Doki Doki Panic.
Yes.
No, it was called fucking no, it was called Harry Potter and the fucking Wizard.
Harry Potter and the fucking Wizard.
I really liked that game.
Super
I
Mario Bros.
like
2,
me too.
or
Doki
Harry
Doki
Potter and the
Panic.
fucking Wizard.
Harry Potter and the fucking Wizard.
That is something that I would like to shout out to.
No, the Harry
All
Potter
Harry
games are
Potter
You've
terrible.
done it
Shut up.
now, Harry. And
No,
yeah,
stop.
they really weren't super good.
They
to
were
be
all
honest.
I didn't
terrible.
say-
Don't even.
They were
They were
all
bad.
No, they
bad,
were
but
horrible.
fun to
I
play.
played 'em.
Whatever.
They were pretty bad, let's be honest. I mean, maybe it was just we were kids and thought that they were okay and good enough. But yeah, they were pretty bad, let's be honest.
I haven't played a Harry Potter game in like years,
They were
but
fucking
I thought
terrible.
it was.
I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, they were pretty bad.
Actually, I haven't played a
Whoa,
Harry Potter game in like decades.
Hold the fuck up. We're not. One thing I'm overlooking. I'm thinking like the movie games. Harry Potter fucking Quidditch for the Nintendo GameCube is a goddamn banger. It's the best goddamn game I ever played.
Harry Potter
fucking love Harry Potter Quidditch.
Harry Potter 1 was on the original PlayStation.
Yeah,
that's how fucking bad it was.
Yeah, they were. Aside from Quidditch, which it was actually a good game. I'm not fucking with you. Quidditch was great. The rest of the Harry Potter games were kind of trash. Yeah.
I thought it was really fun that every time a new movie, I guess it wasn't.
Can we not talk about Harry Potter?
Okay.
Why not?
So we've been going 20 minutes past when we would normally take a break. So let's not take a break and just work through it. Is that cool with you guys?
I do kind of want to take a break just because we don't have very much news to talk about.
Yeah. Well, okay. In that case, can we do like 5 minutes? Because I don't really want to.
I can probably do like 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, just enough to grab a drink and stuff because I don't want to go too over.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what time do we want to do?
5:27.
5:27.
Okay.
5:27. Okay.
We'll be back in a second.
Okay.
Actually, we're not back.
No.
Okay, now we're back.
And
I forgot to
right.
unmute us.
Apparently, we weren't back.
We're back now.
And they told me I was. And I was all excited that we were back. But now I'm not excited anymore because I was lied to. So I'm angry.
I'm still excited.
Oh, okay.
Shut up, Dalsson.
Okay,
News.
News. News. Where are we gonna fucking start with this shit?
You want to go with movies or do you want to go with video games? It's like
well,
not much either way.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Let's maybe do video games first.
Let's do movies. There's like two things to talk about.
Okay, all right.
I think we have more games than news this time.
Yeah, all right.
Surprisingly.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Barely.
So
let's start with Wonder Woman.
Okay. Well, we can talk about that one. Yeah, okay.
Okay, Patty Jenkins closed the deal to be the director for the next Wonder Woman movie.
Good.
Which I'm surprised was even a question considering how well that movie fucking did. So
yeah, and the fact that she was actually good at directing everyone in the movie.
Yeah,
they should just replace fucking everyone with Patty Jenkins. She knows what she's doing. No one fucking else does. Shit.
Yeah,
she's the first female director on a big budget movie like that, right?
On like a fucking superhero movie, I think.
On like basically like a AAA movie. AAA,
right.
I don't think AAA is the right word, but
yeah, well, we know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna get it out of the way now because there's no way that we can have this full discussion and go in depth to it without discussing the feminism point of it, where people keep saying that Hollywood is like doesn't want to hire female directors because they think they're bad at it or something, because a lot of movies like Ghostbusters, like I can't even think of one.
Ghostbusters was directed by a man though.
No, like seriously, Wonder Woman is like the first fucking movie. So
exactly, and so basically, it's because they're not giving me a chance. It like who, as far as I'm concerned, who gives a shit if it's a man or a woman directing it? Just make a good movie. That's all we want.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's the thing.
That's the problem, though. Hollywood.
But Hollywood does. Hollywood does give a shit. So in the end, this is probably just going to open up the door for more good movies.
Well, that's the
I don't
hope.
care if the director's a girl. I don't care if the director's a dude. I don't care if the director
Well, I
is from
see. I do care that it's a woman because we need good women directors, right?
Right.
We need some good examples of directors that are women, so that people finally start to get it out of their head that like women can't do it.
But yeah, and not only that, but like this year specifically has been a real good year for women directors.
Mhm.
You got Sofia Coppola putting out her best movie since fucking what was it? Since Lost in Translation with The Beguiled. You had fucking Patty Jenkins fucking it up. Oh shit, there were like I already like I straight up legitimately listed like
Fucking it up in the good sense of the word.
yeah, fucking it up in the good sense, like fucking busting it out, really
Mhm.
fucking those assholes up, really making a good superhero movie for the first goddamn time in DC's entire lifetime.
So yeah,
Yeah.
even if you pull out the feminism thing, like even if you don't want to consider that aspect of it, being very restrictive with the type of people that you have as directors, like half of our population, for instance,
Yeah.
that just like more diversity
Mhm.
will help with more different perspectives. Like
Right.
so whether like black, Asian, Mexican, like woman, that stuff doesn't matter to me. What I want is just more points of view, more perspectives. And that's
Yeah, right.
one way that it like you get to that point. Like
Right.
so being restrictive in that stuff at all hurts the movie industry as a whole.
Exactly.
Independent of whatever personal effects it has on people.
Yeah.
So
That's what I was trying to get at when I said I don't really give a shit whether you're a man or a woman or whatever, or from Zircon 4. I don't care. I don't care about the director of movies as a whole. I want them to make good movies. I want them to make
Yeah.
different movies. And
yeah, and the only thing is in this
like
case,
you said, excluding half of the population is going to lead to less
Yeah.
good movies. It's
Right.
also, but including the other half of the population is going to lead to more bad movies. But they're already doing that, so who really cares? As long as more good
look at
movies come
Sony.
out of it. Yeah, I like.
Well, I don't even necessarily think that it would lead to more bad movies, because if you have a larger sample size, you're going to
Yeah.
get more good things out of it,
Yeah.
and
So like
you can
a
ignore the
larger
bad things.
percentage of good movies. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, and this does bring back the fact that the thing is, Hollywood, I don't feel like is ever actively racist or sexist. They're just passively racist and sexist because they don't think it'll make money. Why?
Right.
I don't fucking know. They're
I don't
retarded
know
like that.
why
They're
they
dumb.
don't think
They
it'll
don't
make
know.
money. They're dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lynn Ramsey, the girl who directed We Need to Talk About Kevin, the movie about the school shooter, released a movie this year too called You Were Never Really Here, which has been described as an art house Taken.
Okay.
Which
Yeah.
I'm super hyped about, and it's coming out soon. It
And
was
so
released at
there was
yeah.
also the issue last year. Was that last year? That might have been this year. I can't even remember.
Which year?
Ghost in the Shell, where
That was
they're
this year,
talking
yeah.
about whitewashing Motoko in Ghost in the Shell. The thing about that is, like, it's this kind of the same problem. There's only two, like, heroine actresses, right?
Right.
Yeah.
There's Charlize
Like,
Theron
big
and
ones,
Scarlett Johansson. Those
yeah.
are like the only choices, and both of them are white women. So like,
Yeah, so it wasn't that they whitewashed it because they were like, we don't think we should make Motoko Asian. It was because, well,
they
do we
whitewashed
want
it because
Charlize
they wanted
Theron
to
do
attach.
it, or do we want
They wanted
Scarlett
to
Johansson
attach.
to do it?
Yeah, they wanted to attach a big actress to it because
Yeah.
that's what you do in movies.
Yeah.
I think the funniest thing about that controversy to me was the original creator who goes to the show is like, I don't fucking care. What,
Yeah, no.
Motoko can be whatever she wants. She's a robot.
I think it's really funny from the Japanese perspective, because they're like, we make movies that have like white actors starring nothing but Japanese people all the fucking time. Like,
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
I don't want to go too deep in it, but like it's this weird paradox of there's not enough actors to use, like there's not enough big name actors to use for those roles, but the reason why is because they won't give any chances to low list actors wanting to be in those roles because there's no big actors. So it's like this weird thing. It's like a circular problem.
Yeah, it is a big circular problem, because like if you do bill a lower list actor as your like lead star, at least people are afraid that it won't do good on the opening at the very least. Like, even if it's a really great movie, once people see it and say, oh wow, this was actually really good, it'll start to do better. But if you don't have Scarlett Johansson on your headline, it's less likely to make money on that's at the opening day.
And I'm pretty sure Scarlett Johansson sold fucking people on that movie, so.
Oh yeah, no, that's the thing. It's when Hollywood feels like Hollywood that definitely does still influence. I mean, as much as I feel like we should be looking at the writers and directors and whether or not a movie will be good, a lot of people are like, oh, this has this actor in it, so it's going to be good, this big name. And it's like, yeah, there are movies where actors are the big reason the movie is good. I saw a movie this week that I forgot to talk about. What was it called? It Comes at Night. Completely carried by the actors. Hadn't heard of a single fucking one of them.
Right.
Why didn't you just see it during the day?
Shut up, Dalsson.
Matinees are cheaper, right?
Dumb.
Ghost in the Shell made about 50 million, 60 million.
Yeah.
So it probably wasn't the best, but it still made money.
When you say made it, do you mean like that's over what they spent on
it?
Yeah,
that's their box office over their budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they actually probably didn't make as much as they kind of wanted to, but
well, yeah, and that also isn't.
I heard it was kind of bad.
Well, and that also
it was okay.
It was okay.
Oh, and also that unfortunately, like, their production cost doesn't necessarily include all the money that was spent on advertising, so they might have made a lot less.
Right. It was very popular in Japan, though.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, I wonder why.
But yeah, yeah.
Apparently, it was beloved in Japan.
Yeah.
Got really good reviews in Japan.
I guess if people liked it in Japan, then.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's. I don't know.
If it made 3 million just in Japan.
Yeah, shoot.
In the first three. Oh, it made 3 million in the first 3 days in Japan.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay, that makes sense.
And considering Japan's population.
That's pretty damn good, yeah.
Yeah, compared to like if you take that as a percentage of.
Yeah, compared to the entire United States. Yeah, it doesn't look like that much.
Even just the United States. Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. It's weird. Right, so that was Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
There was a study that says Rotten Tomatoes does not affect the box office.
Well, I think we're skipping something. Hold up.
Are we?
What did we skip?
Yes, straight up. So, guess what? Remember there was a couple of episodes ago where I talked about the Rotten Tomatoes score for Colin Trevorrow's new movie. What was it called? I don't even remember, and that's the thing. Nobody else does, because nobody fucking saw it, because it was really, really bad. Colin Trevorrow was the guy who directed, he directed the new, the new Jurassic Park movie, Jurassic World.
Oh shit, I want to talk about Inhumans.
And he also directed a little known movie which I really, really hated. I can never remember this stuff because I'm usually tired when we start up, like when it comes down to it. Anyway, point is, I hate Colin Trevorrow. Absolutely hate him. I think he's a incredibly self-important director who always feels like his movies are trying to speak to himself, and he's kind of a horrible asshole, and I hate everyone in all of his movies. And he was saved by his writers a little bit in Jurassic World, and he was going to be directing the third and final, Star Wars movie in this trilogy. And I was really, really afraid for that, and he just got kicked off the project. And I'm so happy about that.
For what movie? Which
Star Wars episodes, fucking, yeah. 9, yeah. The one that's coming after the next one. He was just kicked off of that. First off, this is a little bit suspect because Disney has been kicking people off of a lot of movies for a lot of reasons, and that's kind of scary, especially when they kicked the Lego Movie guys off of the Han Solo movie. But I'm just happy that Colin Trevorrow isn't. Yeah, I don't know. Because their artistic vision was different than Disney's fucking money-making vision. And it was the same thing with this. Colin Trevorrow's artistic vision, which was probably shit, was different than what Disney wanted it to happen. And that does kind of scare me a little bit. I am really happy that Colin Trevorrow isn't doing anything anymore, but I'm scared about what Disney's got planned. Because if it's like, we want to remake Jedi, I don't like that. I don't want that.
Well, I've always liked the Star Wars expanded universe better than the Star Wars regular universe. Like,
And I don't believe it should have an expanded universe at all.
When
I
I
mean,
say I
do
like
you-
the Star
like
Wars
when you
expanded
say
universe,
that, you mean just KOTOR, right?
pretty much.
Yeah, you mean
yeah.
just KOTOR, yeah.
I mean, I've always liked KOTOR better than I liked the movies, and all of the shit that came from KOTOR. And it looks like to me
Well,
that
all the shit that came out of KOTOR, that's not that much, really.
Yeah, I mean, like, the expanded
Like,
universe
no, when you're
is-
talking about expanded universe, you're talking about fucking zombie stormtroopers.
Yeah,
like-
zombie stormtroopers,
There's some really fucked up, stupid ass shit in the expanded universe.
there's... the expanded universe is just a...
It's a mess. There was
but yeah,
one where, didn't, like, Chewbacca be killed by a giant moon or something at one point?
I don't know, but yeah, the Star Wars expanded universe is ridiculous and stupid, and like KOTOR is one like era in the Star Wars expanded
Okay.
universe.
I like most of the Star Wars video games expanded universe. Obviously, that's because I like video games better
Video?
than I like movies.
I don't think
yeah.
there were other games other than KOTOR
There was
They're really
KOTOR.
and
there were
Tor that were expanded, though.
the Old Republic.
Yeah.
There was oh god, the really good one that was the single
Republic
player
Commando?
squad based. That was it.
That wasn't
Republic
really
Commando.
That
expanded.
wasn't expanded
Yeah,
universe.
that was like...
When
it
we're talking
had-
expanded universe, we're talking about outside of like the
Yeah,
timeline
that
of
was,
the movies
though.
were.
It set up a bunch
No,
of
it
shit
took
for-
it took place entirely in
it
Tor.
took
within
place
the-
within the universe, but it
Well,
created
no,
new-
during when the movies were happening.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
no,
When
that
we're
does
talking
not
expanded
count. That
universe,
doesn't
we're
count.
not talking about when the movies happened. We're talking way the fuck
Yeah,
out there. Like
we're talking
past
either
and
long
before the
before or
movies.
long after. Like
Yeah.
any period of time that happens during the movie, even if it's like some weird side story,
But
those don't
the
count.
Side,
Yeah.
what I'm talking about is the shit that Disney decanonized, and the side.
No.
stories are
You're still
shit.
not.
Yeah,
Yeah, the stuff that Disney decanonized was like all of the 12 trillion books and fucking comic books that came out. That all took place after
it
the movies.
included
Yeah.
it included KOTOR and Tor, but
Yeah, it did.
But
It did.
they
Yeah.
they also decanonized side stories that took place during the movies, didn't they? Like
Oh,
books and shit that were written like the
They-
Mace Window book that isn't real anymore.
well, yeah, because those
Yeah.
like I think
But-
we're splitting hairs here. Like
Yeah.
anything that wasn't the movies or the couple of animated shows.
Well, even
But-
then, they did
They
decanonize
also
the Gendy.
decanonized the Gindi one, yeah.
Yeah.
Which was explicitly during the Clone Wars. That's
so that they could have
By the
their
way.
own Clone Wars series.
So really, I guess what I'm talking about is KOTOR and the stuff that took place during the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know, because even still the books that
took
were
place, like,
about-
after.
well, no, because there's there's books that are adaptations of the movie that also have like other stuff in them. Those are also
yeah.
not canon.
Yeah.
I don't. But see, the thing is, like, I don't think what Disney did was bad though. Like, there was
Yeah.
so much shit that was just fucked up in those books. Not those specific books, but just a lot of the books
Right.
that like they kind of needed to decanonize
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff. And they're bringing the stuff they like because they've
That is what I was kind of getting to. That I liked that basically they decanonized the whole expanded universe, but I've always liked a lot of parts of the expanded universe, and all of the shit that I've liked, they kind of brought back. Like, for example, lightsaber crystals. After they decanonized the expanded universe, they didn't exist.
well, see, I
And
don't.
now
I
they
still
do.
think most of the stuff you're talking about is still just KOTOR though.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
the thing, like Disney likes parts of KOTOR enough that they're bringing it back in. What they're not
Yeah.
bringing in is the bullshit.
Yeah.
There's a lot
yeah.
of bullshit that is floating around that they're
Remember
not
that
bringing
time
in.
that Darth Vader brought a Star Destroyer out of the sky with the Force or something?
That was oh yeah, and that thing about every They already decanonized everything about Sheev Palpatine in the expanded universe, which, you know how Sheev Palpatine in the movies was like just this evil bad guy who was just
He was like
evil
the
and
most
hated.
evilest,
Evil.
ridiculous.
He in the expanded universe, he's even worse, and that's fucking great though. But
there are one series of books that they're bringing in. That I forget what the guy's called, but there's like a very notable Sith character that they're bringing in. And I think the only reason people know that they're bringing that in is because they alluded to it in Rogue
One.
Rogue One, yeah. I think.
Okay.
I forget who it is though, but it's a very popular line of expanded universe books, written by like one author that everybody thinks is really good. I don't really remember that because I don't go that much into Star Wars stuff. I don't really like Star Wars all that much, to be honest.
Right.
But yeah, Star Wars is a movie that was created by a guy who wanted to save his career by making a movie that was like an Akira Kurosawa movie, but in space with laser swords instead of regular swords.
And it worked.
That's it. Yeah, and it worked.
It worked, yeah.
Well, it worked after everyone fixed it in editing. Because originally the movie as it was absolute trash. Then the editors came in, his wife came in, edited a bunch of stuff. John Williams came in and added the score, which elevated the movie. But like the original cut of Star Wars, everyone was like, "This is fucking garbage. George, what the fuck are you doing?" I thought that this was pretty good. No, it's fucking not. This is trash. So they went in the editing room and added a bunch of, and yeah, it is like
is the key to everything.
And yeah, it is technically very, very, very popular. Well, it did have a bunch of like really, really good special effects that looked really, really good for the time.
Star Wars Galaxies is the other thing that got decanonized.
But that was garbage and stupid.
Whatever, it was an MMO.
The lore in it was garbage and stupid.
It was not.
But yeah,
that's one of the things they should have decanonized.
Yeah. He made he just made this movie and it turned out to be really popular, and unfortunately it's one of those things that's really that debate between author intent and like audience intent. It really speaks to audience intent, because author intent is George Lucas is a goddamn nutcase who doesn't know why people like it.
It gives a little bit of credence to that. So yeah, that happened. Let's talk about Rotten Tomatoes now.
Okay, let's absolutely do it.
So there's a study that found that Rotten Tomatoes does not influence audience going to the movies, which I think is kind of weird because I feel like it does.
Yeah, I do.
Maybe
feel like
it's more anecdotal.
Yeah, I feel like it does a little bit, but not as much as Hollywood wants to say that it does. Because the thing is, this summer movie season has not been as good as Hollywood's other summer. Everyone's saying it's a fucking disaster, and absolute. Here's the thing: the way Hollywood looks at it is, we're not making 12 quintillion fucking dollars as much as we did last year. We're making like as much as we made like 10 years ago. We had a slight drop in our fucking upward spiral, and we're shitting our pants because they're a business and that's how they do. That's the thing. And they're blaming Rotten Tomatoes for this because Rotten Tomatoes is like saying that all of their movies are bad. And of course, everyone's response is, "We'll make fucking good movies then, you cock munches." And yes, absolutely. But this is what Hollywood is saying, and this study showed that they really don't. And the way that we sort of have to think about this is, put yourself in like the perspective of your average everyday American person who's like, "I want to go see a movie today. You guys want to go to the movies? I don't want to see a remake of that Ben-Hur. I think that's dumb and I hate it. I don't think they should be remaking those movies." Oh, okay, well it's got Scarlett Johansson in it though. Maybe. I still don't think so though.
Well,
this is what people are thinking, and that's why they're not going to movies.
If Rotten Tomatoes really had that much of effect on box office numbers, then fucking the Emoji Movie wouldn't have made anything.
Yeah,
so,
and not only
Pacific Rim would have made more than Grown Ups too.
Well, here's the thing. That was almost before this. That was a few years. That was like years ago.
Well, Rotten Tomatoes existed, but
Well, yeah, Rotten Tomatoes still existed, but I don't feel like it was as big of a deal as it is now.
So the Emoji Movie has an 8%.
Yeah, straight up an 8.
That's where it's sitting at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
After
reviewed
everything.
positively by some Spanish critics who said, "Oh, I mean,
It's not as bad as everybody says it is.
you take your kids to it, they'll pick their nose and watch it, I
Yeah.
guess." And
You should
that's
The
see it
Emoji
if
Movie
you have
made
kids.
$160 million.
yeah. Well, and the thing is, it's like
Which
a kid's
is more than Ghost
yeah.
in the Shell, apparently.
Oh yeah, way more. And the thing is, like,
Just sad, really.
It's also at like a kids animated movies, and those always make just a shit ton of.
Yeah, it's true.
Like
Actually, it's
dollars.
not. Ghost in the Shell made 169 million.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So it made 9 million more than the Emoji Movie.
Okay.
really? All right. Well, that makes me a little bit, fuck it. Sure, I'm happy about that. I feel like I would watch Ghost in the Shell over the Emoji Movie. Let's be honest. I mean, it's like you're weighing your options.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, I would just rather watch the Ghost in the Shell.
What was a recently highly rated movie?
And
Oh,
it
yeah,
made
okay.
a ton of fucking money.
Well, that's a little bit different though, because
Oh, yeah,
it's
fair
still a
enough.
remake, and it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
kind of a cultural thing.
Yeah,
That's a good question, actually.
Baby Driver made 200 million,
is
280
it-
Yeah,
million.
Baby Driver.
Now, this study, is it saying that good Rotten Tomatoes scores don't boost sales, or is it saying that bad Rotten Tomatoes scores don't hurt sales? Because I feel like those are two completely different ballparks.
Yeah,
Like, not
I
with
totally
the-
see what you're saying.
With a good Rotten Tomatoes score, that means the movie's already good. It's already probably going to sell well before people see the reviews for it, right? Because if people are expecting the movie to be good, it's likely that the Rotten Tomatoes scores are going to be good. If people are
In
expecting the movie to
2017,
be
they
bad-
found that there was no positive or negative correlation between Rotten Tomatoes scores and box office.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
But
okay.
yeah, well, and you say that, but the thing is, that I think you're forgetting, Dalsson. People don't know what the hell to expect. People were sitting there like, I sure hope that Power Rangers movies turns out to be good.
Of course it's-
Here's another thing.
People are fucking idiots.
Contrary to the notion that critics are too hard on blockbuster films, Berquist discovered that critics have actually been kinder to movies grossing more than 300 million worldwide.
Yeah.
And Rotten Tomatoes median has gone up to 77.5%, several points higher than the 73 in 2013. So they're
Yeah,
actually being kinder than ever,
Oh yes.
especially
Straight
to
up.
films that make a fuck ton of money. Though,
Superhero
to be
movies.
fair, superhero movies.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
probably like the one place where it's
Yeah,
kind of
and
a
that-
problem for this.
and
how
that's
this is
the
accounted.
thing. What it's and I'm not gonna say they're being paid off because they're absolutely not. One of the things is like a lot of these reviewers are like some of like new bucks on the scene, which is why you got to look at like the top critics because these are the guys who've been working for since the 70s. A lot of these new bucks on the scene are just like, superhero movies are so good. Oh, I love them. I went to the pre-screening of this movie and it was great. Oh, it was so good. And it's like they're not being super critical, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And these guys are paid to like really, really understand film and give their opinion based on, and they don't like have that much. I'm sitting here, I never went to fucking film school or no shit. I'm sitting here, and I feel like, wow, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. How the hell does my ass sitting on my couch just watching fucking movies know more about this
You
shit than this
watch
dumbass?
You're still a
a
film buff,
lot.
though.
Of movies.
I mean, yeah.
But okay, so
I mean-
the conclusion that this guy came with at the end of the study was that there's virtually no difference between critics' scores and audience scores,
Uh-huh.
and the more successful in the film is at the box office, the smaller the difference. Which means that audiences are becoming experts at smelling bad movies, and it has
Good.
less to do with the actual critics.
Well, and here's the thing. I don't feel like audiences are being any better than they were like in previous decades. It's just that it's becoming more obvious what movies are going to be bad because Hollywood is like they're not exactly painting every movie to be good. I mean,
I don't
see,
know.
like-
I think that audiences are still becoming more savvy just because you can't not be savvy. Like,
Yeah.
with
Fair
the
enough.
internet, it's so much harder to avoid information, right?
Yeah.
So,
It's
like,
I doubt that, despite the Emoji Movie apparently being a box office success, I doubt that a lot of the people who went to see it were not like, I guess we're going to see the Emoji Movie. Probably.
I don't know.
most
Some people were
just
actually
thinking
kind of
it was-
interested in it. The only way I could convince my mom not to see it was by telling her it had an 8 at Rotten Tomatoes. So,
Yeah. But yeah, that's and that is a very good point. I mean, truth be told, like with the internet just displaying information, I wouldn't know nearly as much as movies as I would if it wasn't for the internet. Shit, I probably know dog shit about movies if it wasn't for the internet. Just
and
because
actually, the Emoji Movie was incredibly successful because they only had a $50 million budget, so they
Yeah.
made $110 million on that film.
Oh, so in addition to all the problems with it, they also made it really fucking cheap because they didn't care.
That's
Yeah.
probably why it was. Well,
it's
I
super
mean, yeah,
successful,
that's probably why it was so
As
bad.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
'Cause-
and not only that, one of the things that I heard, and this is the dumbest thing I ever fucking heard in my entire goddamn life, someone said it's like, it was a discussion on like the Emoji Movie, like, well, how exact you people keep saying that this is gonna give Hollywood ideas? How do we know it's gonna give Hollywood ideas? Like,
It's not gonna give Hollywood any ideas. They knew exactly what they were doing.
well, yeah. First off, it's gonna give Sony ideas, and secondly, look at all of the shit tons of fantasy movies that came out after Lord of the Rings was incredibly popular. Look at all of the superhero movies that came out after X-Men was incredibly popular. Look at all of the sequels to all of the slasher movies back in the 80s. Look at all of the horror movies that Universal released back in the 30s. This is Hollywood's MO and has been since the beginning.
Yeah, it's not like this is a new thing.
Yeah, it's not
Big
like
surprise, Hollywood follows the money. And when it
Yeah.
starts to become clear that money isn't coming from that direction, they'll probably do things like scale it back the CGI and stuff.
Well, when it starts to become clear, they'll keep doing it in hopes that it does. And then when it starts to stop becoming clear to when it's become more clear to like everyone else, 2 years after that they'll stop.
Well, to be fair, there is a time cycle with filming and stuff. That the same thing happens in video games. Like you have to anticipate the curve, not follow it. Like you just can't.
Yeah, fair enough.
And
I feel honestly, let's be. I'm gonna say this right now. I feel like Disney's anticipating that curve really well.
Disney Marvel is like killing it.
Yeah. Not only that, they're really sort of almost anticipating like what's going to be big. Like I've been saying, superheroes are gonna like. By the end of fucking Avengers Infinity War, people are gonna stop giving a shit about superhero movies as much as they are now. Disney movies isn't releasing as many. They're more focusing on like live action adaptations of their animated movies and Star Wars.
I think that Disney should focus exclusively on Zootopia.
You know,
Okay.
they actually did not think that Zootopia was going to be as successful as it was,
Fucking
and they
how?
didn't put that much money into merchandising because they didn't think people were going to buy shit for
Well,
it.
yeah, and
Are they putting money into merchandising after the fact?
They did a little bit, but not nearly compared to other properties.
Not nearly what they should have, basically. is what-
Right.
Well, and that's
They
and that's one of
probably
the-
left money on the table.
And like from a technical standpoint, Zootopia is kind of a fucking mess. It had like 12 trillion different writers and like 4 directors or something. Like
They reiterated it like 25
20
Well,
times. And
yeah.
90% of movies that go through that process turn out to be dog shit because they're not like streamlined and don't have like.
Well, the
a
thing
full
is-
point, but it did.
Yeah, even though they had a lot of different writers come in and out,
Yeah.
two
And
of
directors.
two of the directors stayed on the whole time.
Yeah.
Brian Howard, no,
Yes.
yeah, Byron Howard and the other guy, I forget his name.
The people who played Bucky and Pronk.
But those two stayed on it the whole time, and it was everyone else who kind of rotated in and out. So
Yeah.
there was some greater direction, even though it looked bad from a distance. Maybe they should have known that it was going to be successful. They should have. At the point that they released it, because with that many rewrites and stuff, like, yeah, it looked like it was in development hell, and it was. It took forever to actually, like, get through production. Well, actually, it didn't.
I just
'cause
realized something.
They didn't, because they
The
actually
thing-
stuck to their timetable regardless. But they
the
should have known.
reason that they didn't know is because since the 90s, the thing about Disney is they have underestimated furries. Let me explain. Back in the 90s, I was in a
Very
back in the
famous TV show.
back in the 90s, they had hyped the ever-living fuck out of Pocahontas. They expected Pocahontas to be the big fucking thing, the big fucking selling point. So they spent all of their shit getting Pocahontas ready. They didn't give a fuck about Lion King. They didn't give a shit about Lion King. They gave Lion King the B team. You know what movie was heads over tails more popular?
Lion
The
King.
fucking Lion King. Disney does not.
Even though it was
But-
actually just Hamlet, but they put a
To be
lion in
fair,
it.
Yeah.
Jungle Book was incredibly successful.
Oh, yeah.
before that.
Yeah. Robin Hood.
Yeah,
And these are
I don't
like
know
way,
how,
way,
I
way,
don't
way
know off
back.
the top of my head how
'Cause
popular that was.
Jungle
I'm
Book-
pretty sure.
I
Jungle
think it
Book
did
was
well, but I
60.
don't remember it. I don't remember for sure if how well it did.
Jungle Book was 60s, and that was really, really popular, and that was a lot of people really liked Jungle Book. Like people like Disney's Animals. But
Well, Jungle Book
Johnny.
was
Johnny Book.
Johnny Book. No,
Johnny
stop. No, we don't talk about that.
Okay, fair.
The funny thing about Jungle Book is you can still see them reusing frames from Jungle Book in like
Yeah.
Yeah.
basically
And,
anything that they
Aristocats.
still have that
Aristocats
is
is the
traditionally
other one.
animated.
Yeah.
I think
It's Jungle
no,
Book,
I think
Aristocats,
no, I
and
think
Robin Hood.
Aristocats is the one that took a lot of Jungle
Took a
Book.
lot of it. Yeah.
Are you sure? I thought
I'm
it was
almost positive.
Robin
'cause
Hood
I-
was the one
No,
that
because
took a
that
lot.
wouldn't make sense because I think Aristocats was one of the latest movies that they had actual like non-humanoid.
Yeah.
animals.
Aristocats was like 90s or something.
No, Aristocats came out in like the 70s.
Either way, it was after Jungle Book. I think that it was mostly.
Yeah.
Aristocats was 1970.
Oh, okay. Which was later than Jungle
Yeah.
Book. Yeah.
Yeah. Jungle Book it was like
Actually, but Robin Hood had a lot of Jungle Book in it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. They're kind of in their, they're in their princess head when it comes to
Yeah.
Disney because they hyped up Moana and Moana turned out to be the worst movie of the two between Zootopia and Moana.
Yeah.
And Zootopia won the Oscar. On top of that, so it was it was on top of being financially incredibly successful. It was also
Oscar winner. Yeah.
yeah, it was also critically acclaimed.
Well,
Yeah.
but then again, let's be honest. The only thing it was actually going up against was Moana. But I'll get into this
Well, and
discussion with the
Kubo.
actors actually.
And
No, it
Kubo.
wasn't.
It wasn't going
It-
against.
I don't know.
It
It
was,
It was
kinda
going up
was-
against Kubo as much as it was going up against what was it? My Life as a Cucumber.
If it was Kubo and Moana, I think Kubo would have had a better chance.
probably. But
No.
what Thel is trying to say
No,
here
I know
is
what
that-
he's trying to say. I'm just disagreeing with him.
No, they legitimately don't watch those movies. Straight up, do not watch them. They watch the Disney ones that their kids saw. They do not give a fuck. The voting team, I mean, the people who are actually like putting what movies are going to be like elected for Oscars, very good team. Do give a shit about animation. Absolutely, but the people who actually vote, all of which is like, actors and producers, and
They're starting
just
to
don't give a
die.
shit.
They're starting
they're
to
starting to
die,
die.
and they're
Are they
starting to
starting
be
to
rotated.
literally die, or are they starting
No,
to?
they're literally starting to die. The Oscar
well,
team
no.
is incredibly old.
Well, yeah, and not, but even still, like even the young ones just don't give a shit about animation. They're just going to see whatever their kids see because that's all they see is animation as, just because they're part of the industry. They don't see
If
it as
Kubo
anything.
hadn't been against Zootopia, I think that it might have had a better chance.
I
don't-
don't.
Know that it would have won. I think it should have won over Moana, but I don't know that it would have.
Because like the people who are
But
seeing,
I
these-
do agree. I think it would have like Zootopia. I think took.
I think
Away
Zootopia
from
just
Kubo.
kicked everything else's ass because it would kind of was Oscar bait. Like
Well-
even if it wasn't about kids, like being with the parents and stuff, I feel like Zootopia had enough like of that Oscar feeling to draw people in anyway. So I think I think Zootopia was kind of an outlier when it comes to animated movies. But I don't know.
Yeah. The thing is, like, the people who are seeing it are kind of the younger people in Hollywood because their kids are younger and they're taking their younger kids to see it. So they're like the late 20s, early 30s sort of age group. And those are the people who are... A lot of people abstain on animation just because they don't see any movies. Those are the ones that are dying.
Let's touch on a couple of video game things. I don't expect for us to put too much time into this, but
yeah,
we'll touch on that and then we'll head out for today.
Yeah.
So, first thing I want to talk about in terms of gaming news is they're doing an Okami remake for the PC.
Again. Actually, I think I said this
first time for the PC.
First time.
Yeah, first for them. I'm excited. I want to play that game. I've never played Okami.
I haven't either.
Okami.
I played part of it, but I've never.
I played it on the PlayStation. I played it on the Wii. Okami is definitely one of my favorite. I think Okami was one of the games that really, like, obviously I played Devil May Cry 3 first, but Okami was one of the games that really solidified my love for that type of game. Even though it's not exactly the same, it has a lot of
I would not
feel.
Consider it a spectacle fighter.
It's not a spectacle fighter exactly, but it's definitely like...
I mean, it's like Devil May Cry in the sense that they're both action RPGs, but past that...
Was Okami Platinum?
I don't think Okami was...
They might have been Platinum before it was Platinum.
Yeah, I think...
I think you're right. I think about half of the studio is Platinum now.
All right, well, and that's probably why a lot of people sort of lump it in.
And it really gave me it really gave me that feel, and it really was one of the games that solidified my love for that type of game.
Well, you're saying that type of game. You're not being very specific. I hear it compared to
spectacle fighter. Like, it's not explicitly a spectacle fighter. Like, that's not all that's going on in there. But
see, I think I've seen it more compared to Zelda, like 3D Zelda games, like Ocarina of Time and stuff. More so than Devil May Cry. That seems like an odd comparison to me.
It's hard. It's kind of both. Like, that's the thing. Like, the combat in the game is very much spectacle fightery. It like
I don't know.
Metal Gear Rising almost borrowed the Zandatsu mechanic from Metal Gear Rising was very similar to Okami's draw on your screen. It wasn't exactly the same, but just like...
But that was the least spectacle fighter part of Metal Gear Rising. Like, that's the thing. Like, it... Okay, so you can push A 3 times to combo. Like, that doesn't make it a spectacle fighter. I don't know.
It didn't have nearly as in-depth of a combo system and move set and stuff as most spectacle fighters that you would see. But I still feel like...
Well, like, Ratchet and Clank had a 3-hit combo. Like, it's
sure,
not...
a 3-hit combo, but Okami had more than that going on.
Well, I know that it has more than Ratchet and Clank, but at its core, it was more of an, like, adventure platformer, more so than a spectacle fighter, I would say. Spectacle fighters tend to be a lot more linear than that.
That's true, yeah. It was very open-ended, and yeah.
But that brings the question: Is the new Nier game a spectacle fighter in that case?
People consider it a spectacle fighter
because, like, there isn't like a bunch of combos. There are some combos you can do in the new Nier game, but it's not like
the thing about Nier is, though, like, at this point, Platinum is so well known for that they just kind of lump it in regardless.
Yeah. Fair enough. And like, one of the things with Nier, like, the combat at the point in the game, I'm like at the second playthrough, the combat that I'm getting isn't like a spectacle fighter anymore. Now it's a twin stick shooter.
Yeah,
I'm super happy about that.
The weird thing about Nier is it doesn't neatly fit into any genre because it has so much weird stuff going on.
Fair enough.
That's a lot of what Platinum kind of has been doing more and more, you know? They like to put, like, in Wonderful 101, they like to put segments that are, like, not...
Oh, I always forget about... Was
they're
that one
like
even a
not,
spectacle fighter? I don't even know. I don't know
it,
enough
it
about that game.
definitely was for
Yeah.
sure, unarguably. But they had a bunch of segments where like
Wonderful 101 looked more like
it just
Pikmin than anything else to me, but
looked more like
I never
what?
played it. Pikmin.
That's the thing. It borrowed the concept of Pikmin and turned Pikmin into a spectacle fighter. Like that's like I feel like that's what Platinum Games is trying to do. Take the concept of other games that are really like nice, like Pikmin, or like I guess a twin stick shooter in parts of Nier, and give their like give their Platinum flair to it, but still keep the.
I think I don't know. I think that there's not enough of a track record to count that.
Mm-hmm.
There's like Nier, and there's like Wonderful 101, I guess. But other than those ones, like you compare it to like I don't know, the Transformers thing they did, the
Korra thing,
TMNT one, the Korra thing. Like there's so many examples of them doing kind of very like
normal
core spectacle fighter stuff that it's hard to say that all they're doing is experimenting, because it doesn't feel like that's all they're doing. It feels like they have two teams and half of the team is doing the same shit they've always done. So
yeah,
right.
I don't know. And then of course like Bayonetta and Metal Gear Rising, I don't know, like
yeah, which are super spectacle fighters.
So
yeah, Bayonetta at the same time still has those like Star Fox segments, you know. Oh, that was another thing. Platinum Games did Star Fox.
Yeah, but that game I heard was bad.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I've heard nothing but bad things. I don't know. I don't know one way or the other because I have not played it, but I have not heard good things about that game. So
I see.
I don't know.
I'm glad the Platinum's back though. I'm glad.
Well, Nier Automata saved their studio, because if it wasn't for that, they would have died. Straight up. Because
I'm glad that game saved their studio.
Scalebound almost killed their studio.
Yeah,
but that wasn't their fault. That was Microsoft's fault.
It's hard to say.
It's
hard to say. We don't know the details because so much of it is like behind the scenes stuff. So
yeah, mostly just Microsoft killed.
There's some reputation that Platinum Games is hard to work with too. So
yeah,
I don't know. Next thing.
Here's the thing. I always sort of trust like developers over publishers, because fuck publishers trying to make my games less artful. Suck my dick. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean it's easy to blame publishers because often that is the case, but you never know.
It's not always the case, yeah.
And with Platinum, I have heard rumors also that Platinum is hard to work with, so I can see that being part of the problem.
Yeah.
And that was Microsoft's complaint with them was like studio differences or something they said specifically.
Well, I feel like
creative differences.
Like you said, it's a lot of stuff that what happens behind the scenes, but I feel like one of the reasons that developers might feel, or not developers, publishers might feel that they're hard to work with is because Platinum doesn't like to move a lot on what they want to create. They want to create their thing, you know, and it's the same thing that got Kojima canned from Capcom. Kojima really wants
to
situation.
Take
his
or
vision. Konami.
That's not the same. That's not the same situation because Hideo Kojima was Capcom's video game division. He was the president. Yeah. So that's like saying the head of EA was told he wasn't allowed to do something by like his parent company. That's not the same thing. Like he was the head of the entire video game division, so it's like different.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know that we were already in video games, but I wanted to touch on this and I forgot. Inhumans came out as a theatrical thing for the first 2 episodes, and it has a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes. It is now actually the worst Rotten Tomatoes thing.
It hasn't gone up at all.
No. The season hasn't come out yet, or the series hasn't come out yet. Only the first 2 episodes, but based on those 2 episodes, nobody likes it. Nobody. And
Jesus.
To put this in context, the I forget if it's creator of the show is the same guy who did Iron Fist. And so from Iron Fist to Inhumans, it's even worse. Someone said it's hard to find something as bad of an adaptation from a Marvel property since Fantastic Four, the first one.
Oh.
So it is
Oh,
apparently
God.
really bad.
I have zero investment in humans, and I don't even know who any of them are. You said that one that we might know,
Black Bolt, yeah,
Black
probably
Bolt. I've never heard
possibly
of
the only
Black.
person.
Never heard of Black Bolt even.
Here's
and
the
I
thing.
like Marvel.
Well, he was in the Marvel Illuminati, so
Here's the thing. Inhumans, if I remember right, was meant to be like its own movie setting up for the Infinity War. Apparently it's going to be like you know how like the Netflix stuff is like really, really street level and doesn't really have all that much to do with what the big boys are doing. Inhumans was apparently going to have a lot to do with what the big boys are doing.
I don't think so.
Ooh.
No, because in the actual like Infinity War comic book line, not a single Inhuman was involved. So
All right.
I don't.
Yeah, but
They might have tried to tie it in, but maybe it was pulled off because they couldn't tie it in.
Maybe.
Because it's just not part of that. Like
Okay.
if it were X-Men, then maybe, but
Yeah.
this I don't know.
It was like going to come out between like the two Infinity Wars movie and be like
Right.
a bridge between them or something.
Mhm.
I don't know. And it seems
yeah.
like they've changed a lot about what's happening with Infinity War Part 2. Now it's untitled Marvel team up film. Untitled Avengers film, I think it's called now. So we don't even know what the consequences of Infinity War is going to be, if it's going to be a second part or if they're going into something else entirely. They said part of the reason why it's untitled still is because the title might be spoilers for Infinity War.
Interesting.
Okay.
So
Fair enough.
So yeah, Inhumans, garbage. I'm going to check it out anyway because I'm interested in that train wreck. And I did watch Iron Fist, so it could... I don't know. People say it's worse, but who knows? Let's see.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of garbage,
If it's worse than Iron Fist, I feel like it might just maybe hit that point where it's so bad that it's bad enough to watch because it's hilariously bad. Because Iron Fist was bad
maybe.
enough that Iron Fist was bad to the point where, man, this is really
If it were like
bad.
that, it wouldn't have a 0. If it were like
Yeah.
that, some people would have said it's bad in a good way. If
Yeah.
if it has a 0, it means it's probably boring, uninteresting, and poorly
speaking
written.
of things
Right.
that not only are bad but look like they're gonna be so bad it's good, the trailer for Neo Yokio dropped. Did either of you guys see anything about that?
I've not.
Okay.
You're gonna have to share
So-
that with me later.
All right, let me explain. Neo Yokio was a really, really, really crazy fucking project. The first time I heard of it was when I saw the trailer. Right, one of the first things you notice about the trailer is someone gets it sort of looks like an anime. It's a Netflix original thing. What I thought it was like watching it, I thought it was like a dub of some anime I'd never fucking heard of. The first thing you see is a character.
Oh,
break
this
a
is
tennis
that dumb shit that I saw on Tumblr one time, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Okay.
A character breaks a racket and it makes the fucking Gmod crate breaking sound. Immediately, I'm bursting into laughter because it sounds so out of place. The next thing you'll notice is that Jaden Smith is the lead voice actor and is fucking terrible as it. Even in this trailer, it is very obvious that he
that's
is
good to hear.
like
Good to hear some
mind-bendingly
actors stay
bad.
consistent.
Yeah. It's just really, 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 really fucking bad in it. Now, again, I thought this was just a dub because it had a bunch of like big name actors and sometimes they come in for dubs because they're paid a shit ton of money. This is not a dub. This is an original project. This is an
Funded
original
by James
project.
Smith himself.
And it was created as a passion project by the fucking lead singer for Vampire Weekend.
What?
Oh,
I'm not even shitting you.
What?
That's exactly what I thought when I first. I was like, "Why the fuck is this on Pitchfork? What the fuck?"
Oh my god.
See,
What?
see, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I started to watch that
Mhm.
that trailer. No, I didn't
the
start
trailer,
to watch
okay.
the thing. I started to watch the trailer for it. I watched like 30 seconds of it and I was like, this just looks like some generic anime. And then I skipped around in it and I was like, this even just still looks like some generic anime. And then like I read the comments and stuff and I saw, wow, oh, this is so horrible. This is terrible. This is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. So I was like, okay, fine. and I watched the whole trailer all the way through, and it still looks like just some generic D-list anime. Like, it does not look absolutely horrendous. I think the reason, I mean, it does look absolutely horrendous, but I think the reason it looks horrendous to the point where it's forgettable and nobody would ever watch it. I think the only reason people are so angry and up in arms and like, wow, this looks so hilariously bad is just because it's being funded by Jaden Smith and that guy that nobody's ever heard of except for preteen girls. Like, that's the only reason.
Well,
like,
it's
I don't
also
think
on Netflix.
Yeah, here's the thing. If you look at the trailer and look at all of the plot points and things that they're going to have in it, it looks like it's trying to incorporate every single anime that this man has seen into one incredibly bullshit plot
I have
with
to
some of
watch
the
this.
worst voice acting I have ever
Yeah,
heard
you
in
know what?
Thel,
anything.
you have sold me on this. I'm going
And
to
you know
watch
what?
it
It is-
now.
Oh,
You know
yeah,
what,
well, here's the
every-
We
thing.
should watch it
You
together.
know what?
That sounds awful.
You know what else it
Unfortunately,
does, though?
hold on a second.
Okay.
Saying, on that thought, I'm absolutely going to watch it with Appledan. I've already told him that me and him are going to watch it and laugh at it, like the entire time, and then I'm going to make a video about that.
Okay.
So if you want to come, please,
I
we'd
might.
love that.
That sounds really fucking funny.
Okay.
Anyway.
I'll do it.
So I don't know
I'll
how
do
it's
it,
actually spelled, so I kind of
but
just...
man, still.
Oh, shit.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. Sonic
Yeah.
Mania.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Last
So,
week.
I gave the crackers for Sonic Mania, the crackers.
The
who crack
crackers.
things, who crack things. I gave them 2 weeks because that's how long it took them to implement Denuvo. They cracked it in a week and a day. Fuck
8
you,
days.
Sega.
They lost a week's worth of PC sales in order to, or 2 weeks worth of PC sales in order to implement it. And
Yeah, and
it's
now
cracked.
they've lost. And from that, now anyone who was going to buy it past week 1, it just could pirate it.
I
God
was
damn.
going to buy it on the release day, and when I heard that it had Denuvo in it, I was like, I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah.
I was going to buy it again.
Yeah. You already
I'm
have the
serious.
Switch version.
I
so
had
might buy
the
the-
Switch version,
I might
and
pick
I
up
was
the Switch
gonna
version.
buy the PC version. I was going to, straight up.
I might pick
I
up
bought
the
it
Switch
to
version.
play it with Saine, and then I was like, I'm also going to buy the PC version. I've already decided this, and then I was like, oh, no, never mind.
Yeah. Why would you create a game that's meant to go fast to run on Denuvo? Why?
Makes it so-
Why?
Well, now that it's been
Why?
cracked and the developer of it is on record saying that Denuvo is garbage,
Mhm.
maybe maybe they might remove it since they have to pay ongoing for Denuvo.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's why Denuvo always gets pulled off of things that have been cracked.
Because they
It's-
have to keep paying for it.
Yeah, because they have to
Yeah.
keep paying for it as a subscription, so it's better to just remove it. So they
Yeah.
don't have to pay for it and it's already cracked
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah,
And
pretty much.
especially with this game that's literally getting people just flaming the hell out of it for even having Denuvo. Like one of the things is like, we found there's a bunch of problems with our stuff, like the Always Online. We're trying to fix it, and all of the comments just fucking remove Denuvo. Just fucking remove Denuvo. We
It's
don't
funny.
want Denuvo on your shit.
It's funny because I
Yeah.
was reading some of the forums and people were like, is Denuvo bad? Is that going to hurt my PC? Is it unsafe to install Sonic Mania? Like, people don't even... This is such a big deal, apparently, for Sonic Mania, that people who have never even heard of Denuvo before are afraid of it.
Yeah.
So that's not a good look for you, Denuvo.
No, that's well, that's not a good. Well, I mean, it's a fine look for Denuvo. Denuvo doesn't give a shit.
Well, they care
have
about
other
their
customers.
image. They
Denuvo,
care about...
fair enough.
They care that people who don't know specifically about piracy now know what Denuvo is. So
Yeah,
that's kind of a
yeah.
problem.
Yeah. And they also will probably know that they're getting cracked constantly. There's a point in time where they had like a timer up that was like, this many days since Denuvo has never been cracked.
And again, I don't want...
Immediately.
Like, we're not supporting pirates or anything,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we are supporting customers buying a product that doesn't have shitty software that makes it run worse.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, like, I mean, I here's the thing. Denuvo absolutely works. It is one of the best piracy preventers out there, straight up, because it takes a long ass time to crack. It is
Mhm.
hard as nails to get rid of, and it took people months before they were
Before-
able to even
Before
start.
Denuvo, things would have... Occasionally, programs would have...
Pirated versions
Pirated
before
hey,
the
you
game
know
came
what?
out.
game.
At least it's not fucking games for Windows Live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough.
I'd rather
And
have Denuvo than games for Windows Live.
Oh yeah, Absolutely.
In the end, the only thing that is really, really going to prevent you from being pirated is your game having to run off of a server. That is the only thing that will keep it. And even then, people might get private servers out. But
Well, yeah, and
they're
not
not
only
gonna be as
that,
good.
and that's kind of a problem because I mean, if we've learned anything from Darkspore, you might not want to do that, especially if it's
Well,
like a single player game. If
and
it's an
part of the
MMO,
problem-
then that's fine.
Part of the problem is a lot of people already don't want to play
Yeah.
their games always online. So
Yeah, absolutely.
to
People are
have
totally
this
against that.
requirement with Denuvo to check in even once might be a problem for some people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Like whatever.
Yeah.
Like anti-piracy companies are going to have to keep looking for ways to deal with piracy. We understand it.
New
Like
ways.
having to have that opening window safe from pirates, even if it is only a week, probably does help companies.
Yeah.
The only problem is Denuvo is so bad
Oppressive
for
to-
performance that it's hurting the people who are legitimately purchasing the game. And on a $15-$20 game like Sonic Mania, was that really necessary? Especially since a lot of the people who worked on Sonic Mania were originally from the modding community. Like, it seems like a slap in the face. It's dumb.
Yeah.
I don't understand what Sega was thinking. Nobody understands what
Sega
was
was probably thinking, this
Money.
says Sonic on it, so we don't want, so it will sell well. That is what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Whether, even though it was budget or priced at a budget title, it was still said Sonic on it, and they wanted to protect Sonic with DRM.
Yeah.
At this point, it's probably a bad idea though.
Yeah. Did not help their and the thing is, what you know how they're gonna look at it. They're gonna be, did Denuvo make my game sell worse on PC? No, it's the PC gamers and the pirates who are wrong. They're all just pirates. All PC gamers are pirates, and we should treat them like they're all pirates because they all are, and that's why they're not buying my video game. Why else would they not want Denuvo? I can't think of it.
In fairness, companies are starting to get wise that the PC is a huge market, and Ubisoft lists them as, I think Ubisoft in particular, the PC market was their largest single market. So, I think developers and publishers are starting to come to the realization that PC is kind of a big deal. So they're trying to figure something out.
And I absolutely, definitely agree with that, because it absolutely is, and most developers are seeing this. I'm just saying Sega in particular is retarded.
I
Sega's behind the
understand
curve, but
that people want to protect their IP from piracy. I understand that they want to make more money by preventing, and I think that the argument, like, this is really getting into something that maybe we shouldn't have a large discussion on, but one of people's big arguments is people who are going to pirate the games are going to pirate the games, and they're not going to buy them if they can't pirate them. That, I don't think that's accurate. I think that if
I don't think that's 100% accurate, but I think there's truth to
I
that.
think there are a large portion of people who are going to pirate games, and they're not going to buy them if they can't pirate them. But one problem is that you pretty much can pirate every game.
Yeah.
The other problem is that, like with that idea, is that people are more likely to go for whatever is the easiest distribution platform. So if you have insane DRM that requires you to jump through a bunch of hoops, and then it gets cracked and put on the Pirate Bay, people are more likely to go to the Pirate Bay because they don't have to jump through a bunch of hoops. They just have to click download and then install it. And then that's it. Whereas,
well, you might still have to jump through a few hoops to get it to run, but it doesn't cost money, so...
Yeah, but it also doesn't cost money.
Right.
And you have to, it's like hoops versus money. People aren't going to want to pay a bunch of money for something that
they also have to
basically
jump through
ruins
hoops,
your game experience.
Right.
Like Denuvo. like the reason that Steam itself is so successful is because you click purchase, then you click install, and that's it. That's all you've got to do. So, you know, it's just like give the consumer, the people who are paying money for your product, ease of access to your games, and they're more likely to buy it. They're not that's not 100% of people, but it's
Stop cookie clicking.
Yeah, it's easy.
I see you.
Glancing
Okay.
over, yeah, okay.
I think that with that we're done.
Okay.
I think the conclusion from that was Denuvo sucks.
Oh, a thing that I want to say before we go out. The video that I'm working on, the Mountain Blade video that I mentioned earlier, it's gonna take a lot of editing. I don't know if I'm gonna get it done like by the deadline, but I do have a video that I'm going to be uploading today. So if it's not done by the deadline, you can have that to hold you over.
That one was fun.
Yeah, we all made
The
that
Hat
one.
Man.
The Hat Man, the Shadow.
Oh
Ward.
no, yeah.
I'm starting to upload.
That
I'm gonna
one
start
was
uploading
With
it
that
immediately.
beautiful axe physics.
Beautiful axe physics.
Axe physics.
3
Okay.
trading cards that were all the axe.
So be sure to watch that, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Okay.